Thank you for the gift subs.
Requiem, thank you so much.
Hey.
Wow. We've got all sorts of people gifting subs, resubscribing. The hype train is starting.
How many subs was that?
I think 5.
I see 5
but
here.
that looks like more.
God damn, 5 tier 1 subscriptions.
I think it's just exactly, that's the height.
Level 3!
And okay, resub 2.
Thank you. Evening to you, Kung Fu Fenris.
There's
Hello.
a play, a Canadian written play, where it said that Kimosabe means shithead. And so in my brain, that is a fact.
That's like an old Far Side cartoon too. It's like the Lone Ranger opens up his like dictionary and he's like shithead or whatever it is, like butthead. Yeah. What? What the hell? This whole time. Oh, good times. Hi everyone, welcome to session 2 of Blades in the Dark, Whispers in the Water. Third subtitle goes here. It's like a main heading, subheading, Whispers in the Water.
When the moon hits your eye.
RPGClinic.
Like a big. We'll leave that for later. Whoa, and Scruff, thank you all very much. This is lovely. Oh, guys, we're about to beat our last record. Keep up the support.
Kung Fu Fenris says this is weird. Why is it weird?
Yeah, let us know, Kung Fu Fenris.
Yeah.
In the meantime, how's everybody doing over there? I had a great weekend.
Same.
Did you?
Yeah. No, it's terrible. It was great.
I value honesty.
I tried to creep on your stream at the very end just to like.
I saw you.
We saw you.
I'm not sure
didn't
people in the
see
chat
us,
saw John. John was creeping on Drew Crew yesterday.
Yep.
Good times.
He is the mystery sonnet writer.
The person at the window. The person who's breaking into Nancy's room. Sorry, you're not a prowler breaking into a young woman's room, John.
Now, how perverted can I be in iambic pentameter?
I mean,
actually,
the last line of one of the sonnets was like, "To be or not to be, as you can see, I will decide if you will be," or some shit like that. That was not
awful.
A sonnet.
No, but yes. Well, they're not solid sonnets. That's
no. The first one was a sonnet, I think.
I think so.
Maybe.
I will say, John, knowing your academic history, I know you can be pretty filthy in, I think, iambic pentameter. Yeah.
Famously academic.
Famously.
This is true. I did write a sonnet for my final grade, which involved somebody trying to seduce somebody knowing that they were going to die.
Apparently Scott sounds a bit off.
Maybe a bit clearer in what seems off. Is it echoey? Is he loud, quiet, harsh?
Well, I'll remind people that we're not on our ideal sound systems. Our sound is currently...
Scott should be okay, though.
Well, Scott's echoing because he's being picked up by our mics.
That would do it.
Should I like turn my station away? No, we'd have to reconfigure the whole setup.
Yeah.
Good times. Okay, well, let us know if it's too problematic or something.
Also, this should probably go down.
That can come down a bit, yeah. Oh, weirdness. That's disappointing. Were they canceled for weather reasons? That's disappointing.
I just wonder if there's any volume changes that have been made in Reaper.
I didn't change anything.
Oh, okay. All right. We're going to just get right in here, I think.
Pull the mic closer to you.
I know. Yeah, doofus. Cool.
Music's a bit loud. We can pull it down again.
Okay,
we pulled it up because it seemed too quiet.
Hi, Aniphael. How are you? What's going on? There we go. 2030?
Yeah, let's put it there.
God damn it.
That's fine.
It's fine. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm excited to be back over on this side of the... Thanks, Aravana. I will try. I'm excited to be back on this side of the room. Y'all are excited to hopefully be back at that table as well as we continue Blades in the Dark, Session 2. A reminder for folks who may or may not have been here last week, this is a new mini campaign that we're doing here on RPG Clinic. That means that it is intended to run as sort of a short form campaign. We don't know how long that is yet. Maybe it'll come to a satisfying conclusion organically.
Today.
Okay, you're on the chopping block, all three of you, in a row.
Just I thought I was on the chopper.
Bye.
No, you have the fast forward mode, so you get on it and then you fly away and
the chopper follows. That's so much, oh god.
Oh, do we?
I liked the slow-mo version of that too, Kate, because like, he didn't even jump. He's just like still running for the edge when the chopper runs. No,
I don't know if I'd say that Requiem lost. I mean, Exaltwitch Academy lasted for 40 plus episodes.
A lot of sessions.
Exaltwitch Nexus lasted for 56.
Hype train! Congratulations, everyone. I will be sharing my emote here.
Foot, motherfucker.
Food. Oh, no. Oh, God. What have I done? It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Delete everything.
I am just deleting some extra
Characters,
yeah.
Oh, cute.
It's very cute. Way cute.
Oh, it's half of a heart.
Right.
Oh.
Where's the other half?
Who's got the other half? Oh, those bastards. They're only giving them out.
Ripka.
Pook, I really appreciate the sentiment, but like, do you know how many years that is?
Maybe they're like Mercury years or something.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
That would be
years
good. Yeah,
or-
what kind of years are we talking about here?
It'd still be a lot of years.
It's still a lot of, it doesn't really matter, right? Nephiel. I'm still playing a single one-shot. They haven't let me leave this room.
2017.
It's been 5 years. Yeah.
It's been
84
years.
That's who you need to meet in the game. The old woman with the heart of the ocean. Hang on.
That's the Whispers of the Wild.
I need to make a point here.
Yes, go ahead, drop it into the ocean.
Yoink. Can you? Yeah, you're just like out the bottom,
Little
just like.
scuba diver down there.
I mean, that sounds like a score to me. But of course, in Blades in the Dark, we often take risks when we're accomplishing scores. But here at the table, we want to make sure that we're taking risks safely. And to do that, we have these.
My God, it's upside
Safety
down.
cards. Yeah, they have an upside and a downside now. That's interesting to practice with.
Mm-hmm.
So we have these 3 cards. Let's talk about what they mean. When we hold up a green card, it means it's the play card. It means that I feel safe to continue in character. Even if I may look upset or distressed, it's probably just role playing. I, the player, feel good to go.
Whoa.
Pause is, hey, heads up, briefly interrupt gameplay so that you can make the table aware of something.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as that has been communicated, you put the card down, gameplay continues. Stop, however, means stop. We will probably go to a BRB screen. Gameplay is entirely interrupted and suspended. We discuss out of character. We figure out a way to resolve it. Gameplay only resumes once everyone at the table feels safe to continue. You out there in Chatland do not have cards, but you do have options. You have Kung Fu Fenris, one of our moderators in chat, who you can communicate with. You can also communicate with us, RPGClinic. We will see that. So if there are things that you feel the need to communicate in that line, you have those options. But if you're not able to communicate in that way, or we are unable to accommodate your needs, you can always prioritize yourself. We want you to prioritize yourself and remove yourself from the situation. We hate to see you go, but we'd rather you be safe.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Very important.
Thank you.
Thumbs up.
Yay.
Thumbs up. Before we kind of jump into our session tonight, and before we talk a little bit about what the crew's been doing in downtime, and we throw ourselves back into something, I think it might be worthwhile, again, for those people who maybe weren't here last session, or for those who need a refresher, maybe including people in this room, what was last session all about? What happened to our crew?
Last session, we began with investigating a journalist known as the Magpie. We wanted to dig up stuff so that we could blackmail them. And then later on, our crew infiltrated the pleasure barge upon which they were sailing. With a little bit of misdirection and a little bit of disguise, managed to corner them, pull them off the barge, and then fling them onto one of the gondolier's vessels so that they could be taken away, knowing that we had proven to them that the ciphers knew what was happening, knew that they were investigating the ciphers, and that they should never write again.
Absolutely.
However, there were a few spirits that we encountered along the way. Waif has undertaken a little bit of a side project trying to figure out exactly what the hell they want and why they keep showing up when we're around.
Nice. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. When you say there was a little bit of disguise happening, I feel like we took on some aliases and so on. Were there any aliases that were
Morgan Dangerfield was born. Certainly.
Will never die.
We'll see about that.
We will see about that, yeah.
Yeah.
If you have to fake your own death, you should probably do it with a fake. I didn't. No, hang on. That's counterintuitive. Don't do that. Do it with your identity and then become Morgan Dangerfield or whatever.
What if Morgan Dangerfield was who she was all along?
Oh my god. Just the same. Yeah, it's the same face underneath.
It's just like a aloe peel or something, right? Like it's just a clear skin mask. It's just like.
That's actually, sorry, I'm just thinking like, as far as Halloween costumes go, that'd be pretty good if you could like make several sheets of face on your face so you could peel them off individually. So you could come into a room and be like, oh, thank God I'm out of there.
Yeah.
Horrible. Dangerfields is a restaurant here in town with amazing clam chowder. So now I'm craving clam.
It's chowder.
It's chowder. I'll kill you. Don't worry, Requiem. We don't debate the pronunciations of things often on this channel. It's not every day. Don't worry
It
about
won't
it.
usually rise to the point of,
Yeah.
violence
Fisticuffs.
or the ends of relationships, right?
No, not usually.
When we're trying to rise, it is important for us to clamber up to where we need to get to.
So look, Clambergate 2022 is a very important incident in all of our history, and there you go. Okay, good. Well, that's excellent. Let's talk downtime briefly. You received your payoff from your score when you went back and turned in the goods, as it were, to Salia. 2 heat from your actions on the Silver Sun Pleasure Barge, and at the Dark Eye, the newspaper in question. 2 rap, because you did something and you're gaining reputation in the world of Duskfall. And 4 coin, one of which I believe was promised to the gondoliers for their aid. This puts you over the maximum that you can kind of have lying around, just sort of on you, so you could have a couple coin on you in person. It would count as gear on a score, or it goes in your stash. That to me can be decided on the fly if you want to make sure that you have a whole coin on you, which would be like a bag of silver. It's a lot.
Okay, don't trust me with the coin. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I will say that I don't see. I'm
I'm the one
not
most
seeing
likely to get
space
caught and or
here
fucked
near
up.
the loadout that mentions whether or not coin weighs anything.
Okay.
Could I request some verification? Because otherwise, then we can just each carry a coin.
That would make sense, wouldn't it? Yeah, of course.
Like I said, don't give me any coin.
Okay. Yeah,
Easy
'cause
enough.
let's go.
All right, Morgan's taking. Sorry.
No, it's not that I
this is taking
betray
2.
you. It's that I'm the one most likely to get caught or fucked up.
Oh, okay.
God.
Sure.
Fucked up. Hang on, I know where it is. I'll find it. In the meantime, you also have access to 2 downtime actions.
Yeah.
How did people spend their downtime? Kate, can we start with you?
Yeah, I trained in my resolve because I've certainly been trying to consort, but definitely also trying to sway. And since I lack the ability to sway, I may as well work on that. And I cleared some heat from our group. A bit of wandering about town, listening into conversations, and seeing what's what, who's who, where the players are, what's moving against us.
Awesome. So essentially reduced the heat that you gained on the previous score, which is great as well. What about you, Zane?
Well, I had to visit my local physiker because I was still awful distracted.
Who is your local physiker? Weirdly enough, it's someone right next door.
As a result, I am no longer distracted, so I am now no longer wounded, as it were. However, I also trained in prowess, which means that I have now a shiny dot in skirmish.
Ooh.
I also have a shiny dot in command.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so
That was from the XP that I gathered.
Right. No, which is great though. I mean, hey, dots go a long way in this game. As we've discussed, you succeed on a 4, 5, or 6. So in theory, a single and highest result is best result, right? So theoretically, even just having a single dot in an ability gives you a 50% chance of succeeding at an action, which is pretty good.
My insight, however, is still Garbo. I have 1 dot in hunt, and that's it.
Oh dear.
So we're not letting you do the thinking, is that?
Not very good at hitting the books.
I'm gonna find this. Where is it? And what about you, Quaif?
My XP for prowess was filled up, so I added a second dot of prowl. And then for my downtime activities, I trained in resolve.
Okay.
And I am working on a long-term project of investigating the voices heard in the canal by the pleasure barge.
Yikes. Okay. So we kind of briefly discussed this off stream, but I want to reiterate an option that you have if you want to.
Yes.
You could explain to me what you're doing in order to investigate, and then you would roll on this, and I would set the clock that it would take to sort of earn some sort of information. You also mentioned wanting to potentially acquire somebody that would help you with this process. What was that you wanted to do, just in case you do decide to go down that path?
I'm hoping to find a sympathetic gondolier to my cause, because
to your personal
to
cause.
my spiritual cause, because I think that me wading out into the canal and just floating there alone, whispering into the water, is a little sketch. But if there was a gondolier who was willing to let me just hang out in their boat,
just hang out
while they wait for customers,
unbelievable.
that would be great. But so far, I've gotten a little bit of attitude from the gondoliers, so yeah, I feel like I'm looking for a.
You're holding out for a sympathetic gondolier hero.
Holding out for a sympathetic gondolier.
Coming back to the coin stash thing, you're right. I can no longer find what I had in my mind. The more than 4 coin is an impractical amount to keep lying around. So the excess, there's 2 excess if I'm not mistaken, could be spent or put into your stash.
What can we spend our gold on?
That's a great question. Additional activities and downtime.
Mm-hmm.
You can put it into your personal character's stash, which would improve your lifestyle should you retire. And by retire, I mean like not die, right? Like retire. You also need to spend coin to improve your cruise tier. Yeah.
Oh, tier.
Well, sorry. When you advance your cruise tier, you spend coin to do so.
How much do we have to spend to improve our tier?
Ooh, let me remind myself of that. It is. No, I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm gonna find out for you though, if that's something that's of interest to people.
I would certainly. I mean, if we're intent on spending it, I would certainly use one to acquire a temporary asset. But that is a very selfish.
What kind of temporary asset?
The sympathetic gondolier.
Oh.
But then you wouldn't need to spend a downtime action. You would just get it.
Well, acquire an asset is a downtime action, so I would spend a coin to do the acquire asset action.
So new tier times 8 is the coin cost. That's 8 coin to advance to tier 1.
Do we have to have all that coin all at once?
Yeah.
Oh, so we should be eating stuff into our
like
stash.
all at once. Yes, some of it could be in your stash.
Because as I understand it right now, we have 6 coin.
That's correct.
So we have to put coin in our stash so that we can then pull it out, so that we can spend it to up our tier.
Yeah.
And what benefit is there to upping our tier?
Greater tier means, theoretically it means you have more people in your gang. It doesn't actually, in the sense that I'm not going to add a PC on the end of the table here, right?
Oh, actually, yeah. Like, for example, in the acquire asset downtime action, you roll the crew's tier, and the result indicates the quality of the asset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so exactly. Sometimes you'll be asked to roll the crew's tier in terms of trying to do things. That would mean, how much pull do you have, how much status do you have in the community to be able to acquire things on behalf of your crew. This isn't like a personal action, right? Waif would be going around being like, hey, the 3 of us need X, even though it is clearly just you that needs X. Yeah.
Interesting.
We put my music back on here, sorry.
I'm admittedly a little confused like, we can only hold 4 coin. We don't have a vault. So we have to carry the coin. Or
it can go in the crew's stash, which is just like unmarked.
A different
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that wild?
place.
Mm-hmm.
But our stash could be vulnerable, I think, is the key. That somebody could gain access to our stash and steal.
Now you have a hidden lair,
Yeah.
as you are aware. So that's unlikely, but yeah, that's a good point. Unless there's anything that's like kind of burning a hole in our pocket, I
No.
think we might.
Yeah, I just.
Pin it,
I guess I don't know where to mark that based because there's coin,
right.
there's vaults,
Yeah.
but we haven't paid for any vaults.
Mm-hmm.
And then on our individual sheets, we see stash and coin. So I'm just
Okay.
that's my only question is, it sounds like we can't get more than 4 coin, but we need 8 to get more stuff. So that's just
I'll review the,
I can look
the
around,
booking
yeah.
as well, and we'll come to a decision altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the meantime, I think then, are you interested in trying to acquire this gondolier as an asset, or would you rather start the process?
No, I'd rather
investigating
start
it?
the
Okay, cool, yeah.
process.
So
Yeah.
describe to me then. You're heading back essentially to the part of the Duskfall River where you heard voices emanating from beneath the pleasure barge or beneath the gondola.
Yes.
What is Waif doing in order to try to, well, reinvestigate this area?
So I'm just going to. Are there eels in this canal?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I shouldn't necessarily swim in it. And yet.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I mean, it's possible that you might encounter a wild eel at some point. You're probably not going to get like swallowed whole.
Yeah, I wade into the canal because then if anyone, asks me what I'm doing, I can pretend that I'm drowning. I can pretend I'm looking for something.
I love that your go-to is like, oh no!
Exactly. It's perfect.
Okay, great.
I dropped
Cool.
my necklace in here.
You're
I
a
have to retrieve
siren.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, or you're fishing. I mean, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
whatever works best for you, really.
Oh,
That's
boy.
fine.
This is what
Okay.
I'm doing. And then while I'm in there, I'm just staying as still as possible. Except for every so often being like, "Are you there? I'm back. Hello? How can I help you?"
Okay. This is going to be. This is something that I'm going to also track manually on my own. This is going to be a 6-piece, six segment clock. Waif investigates the river. This may require multiple visits and multiple actions to accomplish.
We'll see about that.
Well, I mean, it will. I'm just gonna be that. I'm just gonna be that guy. But like, hit me up. So then, in that case, what would you say that you're doing?
Attuning.
I would agree with that. Yeah, cool. So you're gonna roll your attune.
Yeah.
And your results will dictate how many pieces of the said clock are filled in here.
Watcha! 5.
Okay. Your highest result is a 5.
So that's 2.
Exactly. Bam. So I'm going to make a note of that as well. Great. If you end up with, having finding either an asset or an ally or other information, Liz, there may be a way to tick this clock faster as well to be able to get to the bottom of this mystery sooner.
Great.
I mean, who knows? It could be anything, right? You don't know.
So I start coming back to, our lair, just smelling like canal water.
This is nothing new.
That's correct.
This is true. You probably don't even notice.
I'm gonna briefly set the scene then, just so that we're all reuniting essentially, right? To start us off today, before we decide what we need to do first. Audience members will have seen very briefly the tavern, or the pub, known as the Three-Legged Goat, run by the publican Mrs. Ward in Six Towers neighborhood. Six Towers is a dilapidated, run-down, previously opulent neighborhood in Duskfall, but as the wealthy moved out and as the ghosts moved in, it became less attractive to many people. This is a neighborhood of course, perpetual darkness. Cobblestone streets with cobblestones pulled out, rises, swells, twisting, narrow alleyways, tall buildings, a reminder of how beautiful this district might once have been, perhaps even before all of these events. The Three-Legged Goat is a small, relatively modest, but very warm, inviting pub. However, if you are to head through the back, past the washrooms, past a broom closet, I believe that there is a hidden lair even behind there. This is the lair of our crew, complete with quarters for sleeping and living, small workshop for tinkering, training grounds, and perhaps a small murder board filled with all the connections you made. Just a few books as well. Yeah, law books, right? Law books. Describe to me how would you guys see the lair? This is, of course, through like a false backed closet in or beyond, I guess, the three-legged goat. But how do you guys feel?
Every once in a while, they just go in the closet and they don't come back.
They never come back. Yeah, we have to make sure nobody's watching. It's a Harry Potter situation, you know. What is it? What do you feel like it? What do you feel like that it smells like in there, or that it looks like? How is it lit? Paint the picture for me, for us. I want to know what this lair looks like.
Bunk beds.
Classic. Absolutely classic.
I guess it's bunk beds. I clearly lost the vote.
There's three of you, right? Is it a triple bunk bed or is it two double bunk beds? I'm just asking. Do you sometimes have other... Good shout. You never know when a fourth might need to show up.
Mrs. Ward?
Sometimes I can't just make it home, loves. Me legs, me knees.
Like a pockmarked table. The kind of table that we have that, we should be taking better care of, but every once in a while we have maps out on it and someone's like, and then we go here and they stab a knife in it and you're like, come on, the table.
Oh, I eat on this. Yeah. I love that.
And then you're like, but the maps are expensive. Could we not stab the map?
There's a bunch of half-torn maps on the walls that have like kind of fallen apart from extra use.
I feel like there's electric lighting down here.
Ooh, very fancy.
It's kind of rattly. It doesn't work all the time the way that we would prefer, and every once in a while it turns on when it's not supposed to.
Maybe I made it.
It might have been Waif and the laborers of Six Towers, right?
Yeah.
If I recall correctly, you ended up fashioning these quarters with the help of some of the laborers in the neighborhood, putting you in their good graces for the work that you gave them.
I feel like my tinkering station is like a very, very low table on wheels that I can push under one of the bunk beds. So then I just like move the ratty sheet aside and pull it out and then tinker like sitting cross-legged on the floor.
Okay. Right, so where you're working, you're currently working on a project as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, my silent souled shoes.
Silent souled shoes. What do those do?
They will allow you to move silently.
Good. Love that.
I'm creating a viscous liquid that goes in the soles, creating a kind of shock absorption.
I mean, I love it. I love it. Okay, cool.
Ew.
Yeah. Yeah, but we'll talk about what it does when it's actually made. For now, it just kind of makes a...
That sound is near constant.
Every so often, yeah, she pulls the table out and it's like... Snail shoes.
It's all right. I'm not distracted anymore, so...
Nice. So you can focus right in on that horrible squelching sound.
Oh.
The three of you find yourselves down here. The electric lights are on, and for once, they seem to be working. They seem to be at the level that you want them at.
There isn't any evidence that anyone's been around here, is there?
None at all. You can absolutely search if you don't trust me / don't believe me.
I feel like if I don't trust you, then I have no...
And what is this game?
Yeah, like there's nothing left.
I'm like, man, I got you. You should have checked, man. Like, I'm not gonna.
God, that sounds like a real John move.
No comment, officer. No. Yeah, there's no evidence of anyone having found this place or been here.
So there's no sign of where any of the people who were in the three-legged goat were.
As in...
And it's not usual for Mrs. Ward to close... Or maybe... Well, we did get back pretty late.
Mrs. Ward has not returned. You have not seen her since you came back and found that note, which I remind you, right, there was a note left by...
The Wraiths?
The Wraiths, we would assume, given the...
Fuck the Wraiths. All my homies hate the
And
Wraiths.
it says, we are coming for you.
Exactly.
I mean, we have a -2 status with the Wraiths.
Oh, boy.
So we're not quite at all-out war yet.
Yet.
But that's one more. And we will be.
And has the the tavern been closed since Mrs. Ward's disappearance, or does she have someone who's taken over for her?
That's a good question. Normally, she is the proprietor of this place, and she certainly wouldn't have left any instructions to anybody if, like, you know, oh, I'm going on a holiday. Like, that's not how things are in Duskfall. If she vanished, then it would be left unattended. That said, the Three-Legged Goat is a bit of an institution in Six Towers. A bit of a meeting place for the citizenry, and a place that brings a touch of warmth to an otherwise horrifically dark, cold night. And to that end, a couple of the local laborers, stonemasons, that's what I was trying to say, have indeed stepped behind the bar to take over. They're keeping all of the money that they earn, like, tucked very firmly aside. It's not theirs. It's not for them. They're not going to take pay. They're doing this for Mrs. Ward. I think we'll pause really quickly to look at this technical question. When the music number is crescendo, it's too loud to hear what you're talking about. Will. All right, I'm going to switch the track here as well. We'll do that. Oh, it's now at the end of the track, I think.
I just adjusted it, turned it down a little bit.
Okay. Oh, just in case it was being picked up on your mics. Cool. Thank you. Cool. So at this moment, then, there are a couple of people upstairs in the bar sort of running it, but somewhat tentatively. They don't have the instincts of Mrs. Ward to make things extra nice up there.
That seems very fast. We go away for one score, and we come back, and not only is Mrs. Ward gone, but has now been replaced? Or are you talking about, like, this is the following day or following week or whatever?
It has been some time. You've been able to do your downtime actions in this time, so it's been, let's say, a couple of days.
It's true. None of us spent any downtime actions trying to find Mrs. Ward.
Whoops. I believe, though, you had, or at least I remember hearing talk of what might be a next move for the three.
Weren't we going to go run by the ciphers? Tell them that we have stuff for them?
Yeah, so the plan was to go the next day, immediately to the ciphers.
Okay, cool. I'm super happy to, well...
I guess I don't want, like, oh, well, we've skipped forward a week, and because you didn't tell the ciphers right away, you're in trouble. It's like, wait a second.
No, that works for me. I would say it's been a couple of days as you've been trying to get into contact with them. This is a gang, right? They happen to be, like, messengers in the city, but it's not like you can just approach one on the street and be like, hey, who's your boss? Can I talk to him? Bye, you know. It's not particularly easy information, but we can say that that's been something you've all been working towards. What would be the goal of speaking to the ciphers?
We have information that somebody compromised them, was investigating them, and helpfully, we're also the reason why that person will never write again.
So helpful. You receive word that the person you probably want to talk to is a man by the name of Rowan Brace. Rowan Brace. It sounds like I'm saying a weird...
Row embrace?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Gondoliers all over again.
The embrace of the rowing.
Embrace the row.
It does sound like that, doesn't it? Rowan Brace can be found at an old sort of derelict warehouse, which has been converted essentially into a gym and a fighting pit in Dunslow. This is a district to the southwest, most famous for the fact that it houses the prison of Duskfall. Now, of course, you won't be going to prison, don't worry. But you've been told that this is the place that you can find Rowan training most of the time.
He's doing shups.
Oh my god.
On a carpet.
One-armed shups? Yeah, on a carpet.
Sometimes he has to eat pizza. Sometimes he has to just drink soft drinks.
You never know, Flower. You never know.
I'm not taking that bet, Flower of August, because I don't like to bet.
On failure?
On failure.
Maybe it's going to be a classic. You have to go inside to bust out from the inside.
I mean, if anybody's going inside to bust somebody out, they're busting me out. And it's probably because I've been bragging in front of a blue coat. It seems like this is the sort of thing that you should be taking care of. I mean, we can watch your back. I don't...
Cool. I'll go into a gym and pretend to be really strong and, no, I can talk to them.
I mean, I can get the meeting arranged, but, you know.
Yeah.
You're better at this sort of, hey, look what we have.
Yeah.
I'm better at the find the thing.
Yeah.
Or possibly convince somebody to not kill us.
Those are good things. All right, so we have dish. We want to let them know we have dish and that we're giving them the dish.
Absolutely. Yeah, the information you receive is that Rowan can be found in this gym and is generally, no, not 24/7, but it's video game logic, right? You can go at any time of the day or night and Rowan will be there.
Nice.
He's not there all the time, but just, when you go, he's there.
Have we given Morian the letter that we procured from the Magpie's office? Because that's proof that the Magpie stole from the ciphers.
I mean, we're going to show Morian the letter. We're not going to give Morian the letter.
Give Morian the letter to show Rowan.
Mm-hmm.
I have the evidence to prove that we aren't just making shit up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Did you folks read that? Did you read the contents of that letter?
Yeah, we wrote it. I don't actually know if we got, like...
A blow by blow?
Yeah.
No, but, like, you did
I
read it.
specifically did not read it.
Yeah, because that's what I remember.
Yeah, we
but-
found fragments of letters that must have been taken from a cipher.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we don't have the specifics, but we took the letter.
That's nice, though, right? It's not like an opened letter that you guys might know the contents
would
of.
never have read it.
It hasn't been assembled.
Right, the fragments thereof.
Yeah.
There you go. Cool.
Why would we assemble it?
So then, just to be clear, are you two planning on? You're planning on accompanying Morian,
Yeah.
but not like right up into the meeting, or are you going to stay outside? Where are we going to be?
I'm just going to start doing pull-ups.
100. I'm super okay with
I'll
this.
spot you.
I'll spot you.
Spot me for doing pull-ups? Okay.
Yeah.
You might fall down.
You might
Your
get
arms might
distracted.
Keep a chair nearby.
That daredevil trait just keeps getting in the way. Look, I can do it with 3 fingers. Oh! Why was he doing pull-ups off the rafters?
The gym is not particularly hopping at the moment. In fact, there's only a couple of people in here. There's a couple of pretty mean-looking ladies who are pumping iron, specifically working on their guns. They seem to be egging each other on in the corner. They're like, yeah, you can do it. 2 more. 1 more. Yeah. They're just kind of back and forth over there. There is, however, a man who matches the description of Rowan Brace. He is currently taping up his knuckles, perhaps having been practicing with a punching bag or a speed bag, unclear. When the man turns towards you, he's about 6'5", 300 pounds. He's a big dude.
This guy's a chungus.
I was literally going
I
to
believe his name was Rowan Chungus Brace, actually. Yeah, I think that's what I wrote down here somewhere. He's got a nose that's been bent and broken in a couple of places, and it's really like squashed down. He can see you through his beady eyes and starts to march over to you. What the fuck are you looking at? What do you want?
I have a matter that I think you would find interesting.
He crunches his knuckles. 1, 2, 3. Somehow he does them again. We better start talking, Lassie.
I glance towards the other people just as an indication of, can I speak here where we are?
He cracks his neck by moving his head and indicates this basically off to the side,
Cool.
where he takes you and then starts pretending to do bicep curls as well, just to keep up
weights or
appearances.
whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
Ridiculous.
So, we have reason to believe... No, that's underselling us. We have discovered that someone managed to intercept information from those who are skilled in not having their information intercepted. We have evidence that this person was going to make this interception and their discovery public. We prevented that from happening, not just in the short term, but permanently.
He hangs up the dumbbell with a loud clang. The two women on the far side of the room kind of react visibly, but they don't look over. He keeps his voice relatively low as he leans in. His breath is hot and, frankly, a little pungent. Hang on. Now a minute, Lassie. What you're telling me is that you've been out and about doing God knows what, and you just happened upon someone who has cipher material. And you are here to what? Just return it to us, do a good turn for us? What's this for? Who sent you?
None have sent us. We've sent ourselves because, yes, we're hoping that by scratching your back, someday you will scratch ours.
What did you find?
I'm going to reveal some of the scraps.
He understands that he's not going to be able to just take them without having to start a fight with you. He has been... He's clocked the fact that there are two new arrivals in the gym who are currently doing
Shups.
something? Doing shups over there? Wait for you
Checking the quality of the water fountain.
It's not good.
Yeah, we're
Fresh water is not one of those things that you have a lot of in this town.
Tinkering with the water filter in the water fountain.
Do you want to roll that?
Sure. Maybe they'll like me more.
Improve the quality of the water.
What are you trying to do, Wave?
I just want to. I would like to bust open the drinking fountain.
Oh, Christ.
Fucking
Look
believable.
at the filter and see if I can do some tweaks to, like, maybe even just clean it.
Okay.
No one asked you to do this.
Oh, I like this. Okay. That's fine.
5.
The water filter in this fountain is indeed in need of a change. I mean, there don't seem to be any employees of this gym. This is basically a place where people have been bringing weights and just leaving them for the service of the community, or maybe just for the service of Rowan. Who knows? Nobody's bothered to change this in some time. It would be a relatively simple task to change it. However, I will say that there's a complication that's going to arise from this, which you can resist. Doing so, hang on, I'm going to refer to my little list here. I have a list of things I'm going to find real quick. There we go. Okay. Yeah, the consequence is that you will be able to replace it, but it will have reduced effect. Essentially, you'll be able to fix it, but it will be only temporary. So
I'll come back with a better one after.
I was going to say, it will be clear that, at least to the people in the room right now, you are the reason that it will break again. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. That's the reduced effect and the consequence.
But at least temporarily, the water is impeccable.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, impeccable. It's better. It's definitely better. Okay. And you're doing push-ups.
You're gonna have to come back and fix it.
Of course.
No.
What?
We're trying to put these people on our good side.
Yes. I thought good water would put them on our good side.
Yeah, well, when they have no water, that would be bad. So
That
when
won't
they-
happen. I'm going to tinker at home and make them a really excellent filter.
If Wave can somehow manage to crack the code on this for the entire city of Duskfall, it's going to be goddamn
Why are we criminals?
universe changing. Yeah, exactly. Back in the other corner of the room, Rowan leans in and kind of squints at the pieces of paper, and there's definitely a glimmer of recognition in his eyes as he recognizes what some of the fragments might have been for. The ciphers have reputation as being honorable. They have a reputation for having taken an oath or sworn an oath to never open any of the material that they send along. This would imply that either he knows the contents of the letter or can maybe deduce something about it from what he, right? It might kind of jive with knowledge he already has. That said, he makes no other sign. He leans back and folds his arms and kind of rests against the wall, crouching a little bit to work on his quads. Right. Well, you've certainly done me a favor. What you're saying then, miss, this person who had access to this, what were they planning on doing with it?
Oh, publish it for the whole city to read.
And they didn't care that they were going to incur the wrath of the ciphers, did they?
They seemed quite intent on the importance of what they had discovered and how they were going to. I don't know.
And someone told you to remove this reporter.
I'm sorry, who told you that?
Why did you find this material? I would assume that if you found it, it's because you were doing something to them.
We had reasons to look into what they were up to.
I understand. He scratches his nose and sniffs and then seems to make a decision.
They're alive as far as we know. Just gone.
Right.
We aren't those kinds of criminals.
He cracks a smile and extends a big meaty hand. I don't think we've been properly introduced. I'm Rowan Brace.
Maureen Danfield.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Now listen. I don't like to admit it, but you've definitely done us a favor. I wouldn't want some of this material getting out. And that means if it does, I know who has it.
Certainly.
You catch my drift. Good.
Destroy it.
Kill him. Wreck him.
Destroy it. Destroy the material right in front of him.
I mean, yeah, my intent was to leave him with the pieces that I let him look at.
Okay.
And not give him them all, because then if he wanted to fuck us over, he could just, oh look, it leaked, it was those guys.
Right.
Or if he's the leak,
That's the wrong thing.
it
Okay.
leaked, it's those guys.
Okay, cool. So he has access to some of them then.
Yeah.
Or, well,
Yeah.
the stuff that you showed
Yeah.
him, right? And he's like, okay.
Cast it into the fire.
He tucks it away in like an old leather gym bag that smells of socks. He kind of seems to be considering, and then he makes a decision. Right. Okay. Then in that case, you have done us a favor, miss, and that will go a long way to making sure that the ciphers are able to help you with any message carrying you might need. Now, seeing as you're here, seeing as you and your friends seem to be experienced in certain activities, perhaps I could interest you all in a proposition. You mind if I talk to them, or are they not the talking kind?
Oh, you can talk to them, but we do perhaps have a matter you could help us with as well. I'll call them over.
Zane is currently finishing a push-up, I imagine. 1,003. Okay. Yeah, nice. Okay. And Waif is there as well.
I close the water fountain with
Clang.
a satisfying clang.
The two women who were working on their guns immediately run over and start slurping at it like, I don't know, like a couple of barnyard animals. It's
right in the mic.
yeah. Well, this is what you're paying for. Also, hi, welcome to RPG Clinic. Okay, but yes, Rowan motions you over. First of all, your friend here, Marion, I believe it was, tells me that you've done us a great service, and for that I thank you both. I don't know you, so I'm not going to thank you more than that, unless I have something else to thank you for. Kind of looks to see if there's anything else that maybe he would have something to thank you for.
Seems like a roundabout way of telling us you have something else you want us to do.
Your friend told me that she also had something that you might want me to assist with. Perhaps we could strike a deal.
What's your request?
He kind of tilts his head from one side to the other. I want to know who I'm doing business with first and foremost. The ciphers are not in the habit of keeping secrets. Carrying secrets, certainly. Keeping secrets, no. There's a pause as he sort of like looks down and away for a moment. Yeah. My God. Who might you be?
I'm Ollie Anning.
Good to meet you, Ollie.
Hello.
I noticed you doing something over there in the corner.
Yes,
You wouldn't happen to be sabotaging this place, would you?
No, I took the liberty of replacing the filter in your drinking fountain.
He gives you a 1 minute, goes over, kind of gently like pushes the people out of the way in front of this fountain, takes a long drink, and then returns, wiping his mouth with the back of his hand. Cool, refreshing, delicious. Thank you, Ollie.
You're welcome.
Very kind of you.
We're just in the habit of getting our real names out again? Oh wait, that was me before. Why do I have an alias?
Morian did, so I assumed we all were.
What's de rigueur in this town? Should I be saying Thistle?
That's a good question, actually.
So we got some calls to make.
Yeah, whoa, there we go. Sorry, your legal sort of lives are under your names naturally, and your previous work. Well, actually, everyone's previous work would be under their name.
Yeah.
In terms of, skullduggery and cloak and dagger stuff, you can use your aliases. I would say, at least in my mind, using your real names indicates that you are willing to trust this person with something very important about yourselves. Perhaps if you had families, perhaps if you had jobs, other jobs, they would know how to find you more easily. You have a hidden lair.
I have a family.
What you're saying is perhaps if we had anything to lose, it would make a difference.
No, I didn't say that. You do have a family, it's true. They don't live here as far as I know, so there's that.
Is it like cards to the chest or like letting someone in sort of thing?
That would be my way of putting that.
What should I have said?
I'm very happy to retcon this if we want to do aliases for sure.
This guy says that his name is Rowan Brace.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, then we apparently have his name.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, we'll keep it like this for now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Seville.
Oh, Seville. Thank you, Toast. Thank you very much. Seville, huh? I knew a couple of Sevilles once. Old money, wasn't it? But I'm sure you're not related to any old money, are you?
Not sure why you would be sure.
I know people. That's something I know. And if I look at you, I see a young man here in the prime of his life, doing push-ups in a gym in Dunslow, close to the prison, looking a little desperate in the eye, if you don't mind me saying, sir.
Not sure where you're seeing desperation either. It sounds like we're full of assumptions today.
We're not wrong there. Perhaps I'm just used to the kind of people who approach me for help. If you have everything taken care of so neatly, perhaps you don't need our assistance at all. Would that be fair of me to assume, or no?
You would like our assistance. We'd love to hear about what we could help you with.
Right. All right. He motions in like a gather round kind of way.
Piece of shit.
Did you say that out loud? Did you say that out loud?
All right, you're now the enemies of the ciphers.
You're now -3 with the ciphers, yeah.
Oh, full on war.
Full war.
I call one guy a piece of shit.
He's the nicest cipher. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not insulting this guy. He's a unit.
Yeah. I think he could probably fuck you up pretty badly.
I mean, I have my friends, but...
I wouldn't count on us.
Oh, come on.
I have a concealed palm pistol.
I have a bandolier.
Bang! And it's just empty. Oh, there's shit in it. Right, of course. Rowan sort of like inclines his head. What we've been looking for of late is for a group of people unaffiliated with me or my compatriots to be able to do us a service. There is to be a meeting tomorrow night in Night Market. He gives the name of a relatively famed large market building, which I will get to momentarily, which we're going to call it the Nightshade Market. That's what we're going to call it. And I'm going to write that down. I have it on good authority that at this Nightshade Market there is to be a meeting. A meeting between a small group of bravos, thugs, you might know them as otherwise. Relatively dense types. They're going to be meeting with someone unknown to them, unknown to us, but who will have a proposition for them. Beyond this, I cannot say much. What we want to know is the contents of this meeting. If there is anything... Bless you. I'm just kidding. If there is absolutely anything that you can determine about what they speak of, anything they trade between them, aliases they give, targets, anything, return that information to us. Proof will always give you a bonus point, as it were. I would send ciphers to spy on this meeting ourselves, but I don't have anyone with the requisite skills. If you catch my drift.
So if I understand correctly, just
Yeah, out of character for a moment, sure.
what the score is to get to this market, either infiltrate or observe this meeting, and then return to the ciphers and report what we saw. Yeah. If we have proof, better.
So much the better. Yeah, exactly. Okay. It's surveillance, essentially, but there may be complications to said surveillance, right? That's the score as proposed to you.
Well, if you can't get someone to listen in on this, and we've fallen into your lap the day before you need us, it's your lucky day.
I suppose it is.
Now, considering the fortune of our discovery and our revelation to you, we have reason to believe that a publican has been taken from her property.
Right. It's not a dime a dozen every day sort of situation, I suppose, but you happen to know this publican. Perhaps they're important to you?
Yes.
We want you to kill every last wraith in Duskfall.
He leans back, he smacks his hand on the wall, the concrete splinters a little bit, and then he withdraws his hand and wipes his eyes a little bit. You want me to what, son? You dumb fuck, I'm not gonna be doing anything like that.
Of course you're not. At the same time, the wraiths are giving us a hassle, and they've taken somebody who we owe a certain amount of bar tab to, so being able to have her returned and maybe to see the wraiths get off our backs a little might be handy.
Right. Well, listen, what's the one thing that you can't see here in Duskfall very often?
The sun.
Correct.
Wait, would I even know that the sun exists?
Yeah, you know that there are fragments of the sun still in the sky. I don't know if they would call them other things, but like...
I wonder what it's like.
Wow.
Up there.
What if it was all that together again?
Anyway.
Yeah.
He's going to tell.
Mr. Seville, you're right, of course. The sun. And what does the sun do? Cast shadows. When everything is shadowed, it is impossible to pick out individual shadows from that darkness. The wraiths are everywhere. They have eyes and ears everywhere, I have to assume. What you're asking me to do is assist with a matter that you have, and not to get involved between you and a group of thieves, thugs, assassins.
We're presenting our situation. How you may want to propose to help is up to you.
I think there are some resources we could liberate if you were planning on trying to find and retrieve this publican that you know. I think there are some resources that I could allocate to such a noble task.
There's something about that, though. We don't want to antagonize the wraiths further. We just want to simmer everything down and get our publican back. Is that possible? Because if we're just stealing her back I don't want to find out later on that then they blame us for it and have decided not simply to mess with a publican, but to mess with us directly.
Or next time to just kill her.
I've been working in Duskfall for a few years now. I'm sure you know the laws of the land and the laws of the heart, as it were. Well, you know them. Whether or not you abide by them is a different question. Let me put it this way for you, Mr. Seville. There is never going to be a simmering down anywhere, or rather everywhere, in Duskfall. As soon as one hot spot cools, it reappears somewhere else. So, your options are: the Wraiths believe that you are responsible for the taking back of this famed honorable publican. The Wraiths believe that we are responsible, or the Wraiths believe that someone else is responsible. Shift the blame, and I think we can all come to a mutual understanding on this subject. I would be more than happy to help you in this task, as long as it does not put me, or the ciphers, or you in the line of fire.
And 3 coin. If we get you the evidence.
3 coin. He turns to his bag and opens it. Inside is a heavy iron mace. There is some bags of what could be coin obscured behind it, but he just kind of reaches in and he puts his hand on the mace. I don't believe you're in a position to be negotiating.
I'm sorry, you're threatening us into helping you. After we just helped you?
You did me a service.
Yeah, we did you a service and you're asking us to do another service and you aren't going to pay us for it?
Why would I pay you
Goodbye. Good luck finding someone in the next 24 hours.
Are you guys gonna walk out?
Yeah, I'm following her lead. Fuck it.
This. I love this.
How good was the water, though?
But I'm letting myself getting dragged away.
This feels like a
fucking
roll.
wait.
I would like to propose that this is a group roll because the 3 of you are trying to accomplish something together. Now, of course, please feel free to not do that. But if somebody would like to lead this group action,
So what is this action? How are we going to determine what
this
this
is a
action
good question.
is? I feel like this is a sway.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a sway action?
You're not consorting, that's for sure.
Well, we were trying to, and then he was
Right.
going to
Oh, then he
fucking
was just
pay
like an
us.
absolute weirdo
Yeah.
for some reason. Yeah.
So,
Don't ask
yeah,
me.
sway. So you're
Don't
leading
ask
us
me.
in a
So I
sway
guess I'm
action.
going to. I would lead this
You're
sway
leading
action.
this
What
way.
kind of an action is this?
Whoa, this is a desperate action because
Okay.
if this doesn't work, right, potentially your situation is going to go from bad to worse, right?
Okay.
They might believe that you're just actively trying to piss them off, potentially.
Okay, so there's that, and then how many dice am I allowed to get from people helping me?
Well, so they will each, on a team action, they're each going to roll themselves as well.
Okay.
And then any results that they have 1 to 3 will contribute to your stress. But the
Oh,
highest
okay.
result will be the total
I have
result.
no sway. Unless I'm rolling.
I
I'm not
also have
rolling
no
resolve,
sway.
am I?
No,
I'm
you're
just
rolling your sway, which would be you would roll 2
So-
dice and pick the lower result, Liz.
Even if I don't have any dots in sway?
Correct.
Oh.
Yeah, if you have 0 dots in something, you roll 2. And
So essentially, the risk that we're taking is that I'll get stress.
well, it's also a desperate roll, right? So if you do not roll a 6, there will be consequences.
But these two would have to roll double 6s. That's a 1 in 36 chance.
No. Sorry. The highest result is the result.
Yeah.
So somebody could roll a 6. Then it would be.
But they have to
success.
roll 2 dice and drop and pick the lower die.
Yeah, exactly. But you could roll a 6. Then
But
it'd be
then
fine.
what purpose is it for them to help?
Yeah,
So us
we're,
helping
we're
you is
useless.
making it worse.
Yeah.
No, but okay, yes, I
Yeah.
see what you're saying. I'm just okay, yes. So then it's more so. Okay. Ooh, geez, sorry. So instead of leading a team action, then what we're suggesting is that you are taking the action, but they're helping you.
Yes.
Okay, great, perfect. So it would be +1 die to
Okay.
you for doing that.
I think that's probably
Yeah,
the
that
better
just sounds
one.
so entirely unhelpful.
I
To
think
do-
that
to do a group
doing a group action when you have 0 dots in something is not advisable. Maybe that's it.
I just feel like when I first was like, oh yeah, lead a group, then that means we don't need any points. It's not on 50, whatever.
okay.
I just saw it from the index. God damn.
Should I push myself, take 2 stress for another die, Should I accept a devil's bargain? What kind of devil's bargain are you going to give me on this puppy?
Because it's desperate, right?
51, 58, 59.
I would. Oh, thank you. That's correct. Thank you, Kung Fu Fenris. Yeah. So either Kate or Liz will take a stress to assist with this roll. We can discuss that in a moment. My devil's bargain that I would offer you, John, is that this action is daring as hell, and it's a bit of a power move for relatively unknown people to turn tail and walk away from this piece of shit. This would incur 2 heat.
If
it just would incur 2 heat for +1 die.
Are we taking 2 heat, or should I just take 2 stress?
I'm still confused because I don't know how I can assist if I don't have any dots in the thing.
Well, you're assisting by providing like backup in this case. Like you're
because I can point out. Look at her. She's leaving.
Yeah. Okay. Then I'm fine to take the stress.
Mm-hmm. Assisting. Sorry. Yes. I think
I'm struggling to find the page because
Kung Fu Fenris has suggested 134. Thank you, Kung Fu Fenris.
Okay, thank you.
Assisting a teammate, right, gives them +1 die if you take a stress, which by doing something to assist here. What do you think, John?
So, what is our heat level currently?
I think it's like 3.
It's at 3. I want to get that higher.
I get a wanted
I'll
level.
just take 2 stress.
Okay, fine.
So that we have 5 dice. So that we can get this.
Is one of the ones that you added an assist die?
Yes, it is. Yes.
So one of us needs to take a stress.
I have 2 in sway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, talk me through it.
This is a desperate action, so I get +1 because I am a daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
Although I will have -1 die to any resistance rolls if this goes south.
Mm-hmm.
I am getting an extra die from
my assistance.
From some assistance to have her walk away.
Yeah.
And then I'm adding a die because I'm pushing myself.
By taking 2 stress.
Take 2 stress. So that's 5 dice.
You're going to be indulging some vices after this, my friend.
Yes. Did you hear about the guy who managed to convince the ciphers to help? The insert here.
Everyone happy with this course of events?
I'm very happy with this course of events.
Happy? Happy's a...
Just roll a 6.
term.
Just roll a 6.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Yay!
6, 3 5s, and a 4.
That was okay. So definitely good. Definitely a success. You hear So
I'm just gonna take one look at him. I'm gonna look at my compatriot who is just walking away. I'm just gonna look back at him. I'm just gonna go.
He holds up a hand and snaps his fingers twice. The two large women move to stand near the door.
Now you're going to hold us hostage for having helped you.
I really don't see the need for this to get ugly.
Come back, Marian, Mr. Seville, Ollie.
This really does not hold up to your reputation as honorable.
You're correct. It doesn't. I wanted to make sure that you could handle a little scare.
Try that again.
I will not. Come on back. We can discuss payment. Look, you wanted a favor. I'm offering you one. You've done us a favor. Thank you very much. I'm also offering you an opportunity, and you're doing something for me. Because there will not be anything that you can... Well, I don't believe you're going to happen upon any ancient artifacts of great power that you can sell. I won't be paying you 3 coin. I can offer you 2. And a promise that I will assist you in your task in recovering this famed publican that you love so much. I bet she brews ale. Doesn't she?
Of course.
It's bread bowls. The thing is bread bowls.
Fucker. Wait a sec. Wait. He holds out a hand and he's just like, are you telling me that this publican makes bowls out of bread that you can eat?
They absorb the soup.
Motherfucker, I'm in. They absorb the soup.
Son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch, I'm in. Rowan nods and then he returns to Morian. You have to forgive a man for trying to make sure you can handle a scare. You've done us a service.
You've lost our trust. This
Oh,
is an
fuck,
exchange.
Sure.
We will complete the task, and until such time as you've provided us the assistance that you're claiming you're going to provide, we are simply business partners.
I understand. I would expect nothing more. I can be a bit off-putting, certainly. Should I deliver your payment in a large horse and carriage, perhaps? Gold filled to the gills, falling out?
Let's just get the job done, shall we?
Of course.
Enjoy your impeccable water.
I will. Thank you very much.
Hope you find it in your heart to tip when we exceed your expectations.
He reaches...
And I flip my scarf, long scarf, over my shoulder.
Absolutely
and
correct, yeah.
Brush, as theoretically the women are not going to
They're
stop me.
absolutely not going to stop you. No,
Brush my
of
way out
course.
the door.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a nice place to do push-ups.
Thank you. It's one of my favorite places in Duskfall.
I'm just gonna leave and I'm gonna just put the stress on my goddamn sheet.
He does not return to the water fountain. As you exit, you can see him reaching into his bag and taking out a flask and drinking from it.
Aw.
Okay. So,
Sorry.
I tried so hard.
you've done great, Waif. Don't let anyone say you haven't.
Yeah, we did a nice thing. You did a nice thing. We offered, like, we asked for help. He asked for help. We were like, okay, well, you know, in the balance of things, you're going to pay us. And then he fucking threatened
And then he
us.
was like, absolutely not.
We
Yeah.
still gotta eat.
Yeah.
If I eat, I mean, pay for my drinks.
Yeah, we do. And we can't do that if he smashes us in the face when he asks for him to when we ask for him to pay
Sorry,
us.
I wanted 2 coins so we could bump up our tier.
Yeah.
I asked for 3. The negotiation.
The negotiation has
Sure.
been successful for now. I should mention as well, because you took oh no, you didn't take the heat. You took
I took stress instead.
Yeah, I should just mention, of course, yeah, Devil's Bargain results or consequences are automatic, but heat in particular doesn't necessarily refer to the blue coats, right? It could refer to heat from any source. It's not necessarily law enforcement. It could be other groups or, I don't know, angry spirits or whatever.
Ooh. I'm not sure which one of those I prefer.
I know which one.
Why not all 3? Ghost detectives. Okay. So that's the score. The Nightshade Market is indeed in Night Market, which is, I'm now regretting my choice of market name, but that's okay. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's the Nightshade Vegetables, right?
Tomato market.
Tomato Market.
Nightshade Bazaar.
It's better. Isn't that better? I like that. Bizarre. Thank you. This is what it means to have a
Nightshade Plaza.
Ooh, let's not go that far. It's not that nice. This is what it means to have a collectively created game. I like
Nightshade Mall.
it. Nightshade Mall.
Let's go to the mall.
So in Night Market is a commercial district, right? There are, of course, markets, launderers, not money launderers, but like people who actually do laundry. You can buy and sell pretty much anything, but the name of the game there is trade, right? It's not a commerce center in terms of banking or anything like that. These are everyday people haggling over what they need to live. I will just mention the Nightshade Bazaar. You would all know it. Whether or not you frequent it is up to you. We can talk about that. It's a single long kind of covered building, similar to, say, the Atwater Market, if you're familiar with the Atwater Market. There are stalls set up all along the market, and it is generally quite busy because it is an enclosed space. People flow to and fro, purchasing and haggling over any sorts of exotic or not so exotic foodstuffs, clothes, materials for weapons, etc. It's not a place that has out and out illicit goods for sale. But of course, if you ask the right people, you can buy anything.
Illicit goods for sale.
These dolls certainly don't have knives in them. That's me right there for sure. The Nightshade Bazaar, as I mentioned before, is sort of essentially one long pavilion. Like what's like a covered area with stalls and tons of people. It's usually very crowded at all hours of the day, especially you know that this meeting is to happen in about 24 hours time, tomorrow evening. There is, however, and just in terms of what you would know about the space, there is an upper walkway that runs along on both sides. You can imagine it sort of as like a viewing gallery, except there are no other stalls up there. It's not like people frequent it, so there is certainly the space above. There's also a market, so you could potentially find your way inside. And there's all sorts of other ways that you could try to surveil this meeting that's going to be happening. I want to know what people's thoughts are in terms of the way in or the type of plan. And then we can have our engagement roll. And then we'll probably take a quick break. Unless we want to take a quick break this second and think about it, which is cool.
Well, we can always pull a Mission Impossible. We can
Plan.
bring somebody up in a harness and then lower them from the ceiling.
Sorry, that's really good.
She'll make the harness.
Yeah.
It'll be lowered. I'm gonna.
Watch, laugh.
No, I'm just gonna mill about in the crowd.
Perhaps just cause distractions if you need to as well. If you need to.
Yeah. But actually,
We want to try to get evidence. If we get evidence, then maybe, because what I'm hoping for is that we might even be able to put the ciphers on a plus, the plus section of our factions sheet, right? Despite how hard you're working to antagonize.
I'm sorry. They worked hard to antagonize us.
He was a bit of a pisser, it's true.
Like we were good until he
I
reached
am
for
not
his weapon.
blaming Kate.
No, not at all. He's, as a tier 2, he's, oh yeah, let's here, green cards for sure.
Yeah.
No, we're all good.
Yay! As a tier 2 or representative of a tier 2 organization, you know, he's got some sway, and you guys are little tier 0 pissers.
And yet he needed someone tomorrow.
Yeah, there
that
you go.
wasn't his people.
Exactly. And you happen to fall into his lap. Yeah, right. So.
Yeah.
So I would love to gather evidence if I could. There isn't such a thing as like a recording.
Just gonna ask, is that a thing? Recording devices?
This is a sort of steampunk fantasy universe. So if you could conceive of essentially a Victrola, but miniature, that instead of broadcasting sound, captures sound on wax cylinders, yeah, I think it could very much be a thing. If you can conceive of it and describe it to me and explain to me how you're going to make it or procure it, then yeah, I'm super happy with those existing in the world.
I mean, I'm certainly down to try to create this with my Tinker 3.
What's in your special items as a leech?
Fine tinkering tools.
Yeah.
And gadgets.
Well, gadgets is in there.
Yeah.
I guess that
That
counts
might
as
be
a
in there, you
gadget.
Yes, it counts as a gadget. You wouldn't have easy access to something like this. Like that feels like something you'd have to obtain. To me, anyway.
Like the materials, or
No, the materials you could probably
like to
cobble
try to
together.
make one, and then we still have a little bit of time if we need to source one.
We don't necessarily need to source sound. We need to source. I mean, like that's definitely a great piece of evidence. That's probably the best evidence we could get. But even if we just had proof that certain people were present,
Like a camera.
specifically 2 different factions meeting, would be enough.
I would agree with that. There's all sorts of possibilities, right? You could attempt to. I mean, I'm pitching things. You could attempt to overpower the meeting. That feels like probably not in your crew's up your crew's alley. To physically overpower everyone at the meeting and like take their shit, but that feels like a bad idea. You could attempt to deceive your way into a position near them, or into the meeting itself, posing as one of the groups, that wouldn't help particularly either, right? Because what are you surveilling at that point? You could find a way to sneak your way. You could sneak your way in or nearby, right? And then either again record or perhaps lift any physical proof that is provided between the two. These are all possibilities.
Are business cards a thing? Like, do people have like cards or seals or something that identifies them as people?
Typically not like cards, because certainly in the sense that, well, if you're doing crimes, you probably don't want anything on you that links you to, right? Unless you're there to make a statement. So, for example, as we know, the wraiths all wear relatively distinctive masks, right? Which cover their face fully. And
Do we know which groups are meeting here?
we do not. Rowan believed it was a group of bravos or thugs and an unknown benefactor. Unfortunately, Rowan was not a particularly good source of information.
Then what I would suggest is that we rig up a harness, we put me up top,
Okay.
hiding up at the top, right? It's dark. I'll be able to stick around there just on the top side. Then what we can do is we can cause distractions so that I can scutter along the top of the ceiling and then quickly lower me down so that I can lift things and then just slap me back up. But am I the right person to be lowered? And
That wasn't me.
you have finesse, though.
I have finesse.
Ooh.
I guess I'm picturing a market with like a vaulted ceiling and seeing, like, I don't care how fast you do that, that just feels really like
Dumb.
obvious. Like,
I mean,
it's a
it's kinda
crowded market. It's a crowded market, and someone does this, everyone's gonna see it.
Just wanted
So
to
that
be
is
Tom
the
Cruise.
distraction.
I mean, well, and that's a good question.
That could be the distraction.
Quality. Interesting. The quality of distraction could also potentially turn a number of heads
Like
away.
a smoke bomb.
I mean, that would,
I could go around to all the garbage cans and put bombs in them.
I mean, people would think they were probably under attack, right? For now, what we're looking for as a plan is basically the point of infiltration, or the way that you're going to get.
Could you set up a storefront?
Sure.
Oh my god, yes.
I could be verifying documents.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Going in.
Like a mobile notary.
If you
Yeah.
set up a storefront,
But actually, making fake documents.
that gives us a reason to be in the market and
Yeah.
a place for us to go if we need to hide something or hide a person quick. That'll get us close, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
And
This is.
And it
this
also
is
gives us
a-
access to like the back areas.
it does mean that I can't be circulating and eavesdropping, which was, but maybe
I've got
someone
the
else
prowl
can. Yeah,
for that.
so you could circulate.
I
and
have 2
eavesdrop.
prowl now too.
You can
Okay.
both circulate and eavesdrop.
This seems good.
And like wait for an opportunity to
Swoop in and deal what you need to do.
lift something out of a pocket or
You're better at making distractions than I am because you've got the wreck and the tinker for it.
yeah.
So
I'll make
here's
stinky potions.
here's the plan that I suggest, and I'm going to spread a piece of parchment across
Over
the table.
Okay.
Here, talk. We set up a storefront. I don't know if Morgan Dangerfield is going to be able to show up this time, but maybe we can come up with a better name. But that'll also give us access to areas we wouldn't necessarily be allowed to go in case we need it, and a place for us to go and drop off any evidence that we acquire so that then if we're tailed later on, I won't have anything on me. Plausible deniability. You manage to get yourself into a position where you can cause distractions at the most opportune moments, and I'll try to get as close as I can to the actual meeting. Once the meeting is adjourned and I have the evidence that we require, I'll drop it off in the storefront, and that way, if they have a tail on me, I come up and I'm clean as anything. Clean as anything, not queen. I mean, I could be a queen.
You could be a queen as anything, sure. It's a free country, kind of. That's all I mean.
And I'm clean as everything. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah. Do you want me to try to tinker on a recording device, or are we going to rely on items that we lift rather than recordings?
Could we perhaps try to tinker it, and then if we don't, then we'll fall back?
I would even argue this could be a flashback. When we get to the moment where you think you might be able to record something, we'll flash back and see how it goes. Does that sound good?
That sounds
Cool.
good to me.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Then this is where we make our stand. Funk.
Oh, God, my table! You can
again!
almost hear Mrs. Ward's voice being like, oh, the table, boys!
But that's our table. It's in our lair.
Okay, fine. Oh, she loves her table, though. The table. Not her table. Okay.
Does she own her? Does she own her lair, or do we own her lair?
You own your lair.
Okay.
I think she feels possessive of you, though. Anyway, okay.
Well,
It's
she's
time
also possibly like dangling above an eel pit.
You know, we bought the lair off of her,
true.
so maybe we bought that table off of her.
I like to think so. My favorite table. It's time for the engagement roll.
Yeah.
The method of deception is setting up a false storefront in the Nightshade Bazaar, which will provide, as we know, a point of entry and a cover for being there.
No.
Take 1 die to start for this roll. Is your operation particularly bold and daring?
I mean,
feel like
I'm
it's
walking
pretty
right
bold
up to them.
and daring.
To agree, I'm with you 100%. This is particularly bold and daring. You may have +1 die on this engagement roll. Does the plan's detail, so that would be creating this market storefront, expose a vulnerability of the target, hit them where they're weakest, or is the target perhaps strongest against this approach, or have any special preparations?
We don't know much about the target.
Yeah.
It's true that we don't know about the target, but it does mean that we're in the place. We already know where they're having this meeting. So they're vulnerable already. We're not waiting to find out about this meeting after the fact. We're finding out at this meeting beforehand,
live
and we
in
are
the
ready to go. We could even prepare before they even arrive.
Yeah.
In fact, I would argue you probably should, because if
Yeah.
you can have a storefront, right? Okay. So we're saying that we're taking +1 die for this plan's detail, exposing a weakness.
I'm
knowing
suggesting that we already know about we're forewarned.
So +1, then. I think we're up to 3, if I'm not mistaken. And then the next is friends or contacts providing aid, or are enemies or rivals interfering in the operation?
No, we're going solo on
That's
this one
it.
because
Yeah,
we're
you
done.
have no, well, I mean, you don't currently have anyone who can provide any aid that you know of, I don't think. And then it says, are there any other elements that you wish to consider? Maybe a lower tier target, or maybe a higher tier target, or there's
We
a
don't
situation in the
know.
district, anything like that. I don't foresee any other situations here.
So it's 1 die each once again.
That's it. I'm going to go from left to right. Yeah. Hit me up. What'd you get?
4.
A 4?
3.
A 3?
1.
Ooh, okay. The highest result is a 4, which means that when we return from our break, we're going to be straight into the action and see how this crew are dealing with the surveillance operation. Whoa! Thank you all! Hooray! We're not going to go to a BRB screen. We take breaks now. Huzzah! Let me...
It means that this is a good opportunity for you to get up, grab a drink, use the bathroom, grab a
exactly.
snack, whatever you want to do, because we'll be on break for like about 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Yeah, maybe a bit more.
6:28, 6:30,
6:33, we're back.
6:34, we're back.
6:34, we're back. And break. Okay, cool. Good. Nice. Yeah, so take an opportunity to take a break. Everybody out there in the audience, I know we're going to as well.
That's 5.
That's 5.
Thank you.
Thank you, 5. Thank you, Requiem. I appreciate the specificity. How's everyone doing out there with the time change? I didn't really notice it, to be completely honest.
Today is fine because it's the
mute me?
weekend.
That's fair.
Tomorrow.
Do you mute me?
That's true. That's going to be a bit
head out
brutal.
first.
I was up and down during the night because of the cats anyway, so it felt a little. They just need things from me at night. Apparently,
Need things always.
I was always like, I want to do this. I'm like, oh god. Ah.
Yeah, tomorrow I think is when I'm going to feel it. Because I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'll either be like, oh, I'm ready for work. Or I'm going to wake up tomorrow and be like, oh, work's in like, oh God, why did I wake up so
Work is
early?
right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that'd be bad news for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
And of course, the feeling tired earlier in the day.
That's never good. I mean,
But I've been trying to prepare for this for the past
Yes.
week. So
You have like a system, right?
Game in it.
You have a system.
I try to take 10 minutes. I try to shift my schedule by 10 minutes a day for the 6 days before.
Right. Here's a question. I know that there was a proposal to end daylight savings time across Canada after this year. Like, I don't know if that actually went through the House of
heard
Commons,
about
though.
that.
It's because the United States passed the initial bill through the House, but it hasn't made it through the Senate.
Okay.
If it makes it through the Senate, then it's possible that it can become law. The thing is, it is a pretty bipartisan issue in the United States.
Sure.
It's not like either Republicans or Democrats are particularly for or against daylight saving time. But we won't do it if they don't, would be my guess.
It would be a bit odd for like two countries that have so much in common and share so many time zones.
So that bill
Yeah.
will specifically mean that when daylight saving time happens in spring will be the last time the clocks change.
Yeah.
There is an unfortunate part though.
Okay.
There's no urgency to this bill. And if they decide not to bring it up in the Senate, it dies.
It just doesn't go anywhere. Yeah.
And then it doesn't happen. So
I guess right now is when the people who want the bill to pass would be like, hey, feel how much this sucks?
well,
It passed through Senate,
they're
has
in an
to do-
election cycle. They're just about to
But
pass the Senate. Oh,
oh, so Senate did it, Congress hasn't.
Oh, interesting. Huh. Well, I mean, so big fingers crossed. I mean, look, like here, I'm
afraid I'm not well versed in American.
Yeah, which
Shit.
one's which?
I knew it passed one house.
There you go.
I thought it had passed, and thus it was going to happen unless someone decided to stop it.
It feels like such a good win. I don't think there's anybody I've ever met who's like, you know what I really like?
Yeah,
Changing
time's
my
changing.
clocks twice
Yeah,
a
well,
year.
like, and I feel like I saw someone, who's like, yeah, the cows don't care what the clock says. Like, the
course not.
cows are just gonna fucking wake up. It doesn't change. So, like, it's not for the farmers. Like, it's not
I
gonna
don't
fucking
think it
help
ever
them.
really was.
There's evidence to show that it actually has quite a cost
Yeah.
to shift the time, but
Yeah.
there isn't anything conclusive that's like this is absolutely a fucking horrible thing.
Accidents go up
Yeah, way up. Yeah,
all
absolutely.
the time, and it's like it's vehicle to vehicle, vehicle to animal, like to deer and stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it all goes up every time.
Pretty wild. I'm gonna take a quick break
Yeah,
as well.
do
too.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to mute it, so you do.
But the problem is that Canada will create its own laws and we'll do our own thing. But when it comes to things that affect our commerce or our relations with another country, specifically the United States, we probably won't do it. It would be too confusing if when you were in, say, Toronto or Montreal, which is in the Eastern time zone, we decided to go to New York. Well, if we didn't do daylight saving time changes anymore, but they did, there'd be confusion as to which hour we would be switching to.
Yeah.
Do we roll back an hour or do we not roll back an hour? And
Yeah.
it would just be too complicated. So I imagine we will absolutely do it, but only as soon as the United States decides to
I
do
heard BC had passed a law to do it, so it's possible that BC will go its own way, because I think
it. Might.
like there's like
I mean, Quebec also certainly has the capacity to decide to do things.
yeah, but I feel like there are already a couple of states that don't do it, and I feel like there's a part of a province in Canada that doesn't do it. But yeah, if BC is gonna just go for it, then also we may be like, oh, we have to do time zone math for the rest of the world, so
I'd certainly be down to not have to do it anymore. I know that there's some debate as to whether it should be that daylight saving time should be eliminated or made permanent.
yeah.
The difference is that in the wintertime, if daylight saving time is made permanent, then that's an extra hour of sunlight in the end of the day, where in a lot of places, here included, sunset can actually start happening at around 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. But if it is made permanent, that means that when people are waking up and going to work or school, it will be in darkness. So there
But
are
it's
questions.
already the case. You still wake up and get like at 7 o'clock. It's dark. So and that's usually when you're getting up and getting yourself together. So I don't know. Time zones. This is our really thrilling discussion of the day.
Hey, I mean, look, I'm looking
it's
forward
what's
to going
happening.
on a score.
A score.
We're going to score.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself.
yourself and I'll unmute Liz.
Do you need anything while I'm up?
Nope.
Okay, I'm gonna plug from here then. Cool.
I don't know why I don't need to get up during session. I think it's just because I'm so used to being across on the other. I'm in that chair, and so I was like, oh, maybe I just won't get up. Let me know when you're clipped in there.
Almost done.
There you go. Should be in.
Check, check, check.
Yeah, there are states that don't do daylight saving time for sure. I'm hesitating to remember which ones. I think Arizona? I don't know.
I don't know.
We were talking about whether Canada would do daylight saving time permanency or eliminate it entirely, but I suspect we won't do it unless the United States decides to do it. But that's me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would make sense.
Mm-hmm. What would make sense?
If we only did like John's theory, if we would follow the lead of the states.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if there was, a city that's always been in our time zone, like New York, and all of a sudden at some point it wasn't, that would really mess with our brains.
Oh, it messed me right the hell up.
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
We are now at the point, however, where we don't have to close our curtains to stream.
Yeah, I realized that they were open, and I was like, oh, well, there's no one across from us anyway.
Which means we could have the window open if we so chose.
I'm going to, do you think it would mess with sound?
Well, I feel like the second we open it, there's going to be a garbage truck, but do it, and then...
Yeah. I'm happy to go
Yeah,
back and forth.
fine.
Let's see if Scott can figure out how to open my
Such a
window.
glorious day.
Can people see my butt wiggling while I
No.
do that?
Maybe.
A little bit.
No extra charge,
No.
folks.
Oh, no extra charge.
Got some half butt going
Now that's
on.
what you're paying for.
Hashtag half a butt.
I don't think that's quite what's happening here. Are we back?
Yeah.
Awesome. Let me get some music happening here. The Nightshade Bazaar. Love that, Pook. Love that for us. The Nightshade Bazaar is indeed hoppin' tonight. I mean, hoppin'. It's very busy. There are all sorts of people from, well, not all walks of life, but various sort of working class and various middle class people who are doing their shopping here tonight. There's all sorts of sounds and sights and smells as people are attempting to haggle their way into better prices on bread. People are attempting to find out when the next sort of shipment of mushrooms from further afield is coming in so that they can purchase them. There's the smells of like freshly made stews and like roasting meat somewhere further along inside the market. It's dark, of course it is, but the bazaar is lit by electric lights far overhead, so at the very least you can sort of see what you're doing. But like most places in Duskfall, it is not exactly, very light throughout. There's still corners to hide in. The walkway above is indeed empty at the moment, or at least as far as you can tell, I should say. Your plan was to set up this stall, yeah? What were you were offering, like, legal advice or something at this stall?
Document verification.
Document verification, that sounds pretty good. So
An occasional dominatrix.
look, I got a room in the back, It has gone, so the roll gave us a 4, right? This is a partial success.
Mm-hmm.
The stall is set up, and we're right into the action, which is that the two of you are already in the crowd, I imagine, looking for this meeting in progress.
Yep.
And Maureen, you find yourself face to face with a very curious man, small little pencil mustache. He is one of the inspectors of Duskfall. Normally they are foreigners, for lack of a better word, brought in to investigate specific crimes. He is not here to investigate you, that you know of, but he's very curious about your stall, and he's like, he's like trying to figure out exactly what it is you do. So he's already taken an interest in you, I suppose is my point. Excuse me, what exactly is it that you say you do here? Or?
Well, sometimes people are given contracts or legal documents that people claim are legitimate. but unfortunately they're taking advantage of people that are down on their luck, and so these awful people will say, oh yes, this will definitely gain you passage into Duskfall and you'll be a citizen, and in fact it's a forgery, and these poor people are not able to be verified by the government.
Do not have an office front in Charter Hall or something like this?
I want to reach the people where they are.
And you have come here to the Nightshade Bazaar, where there are indeed many people. He turns around and kind of motions as someone like jostles him and like, knocks into him. Oh, excuse me.
I am starting to go through the markets throughout the city to try to reach the people that need the help, because having a nice office up in the lofty halls of Charter Hall is not where these people are.
He withdraws a small pad of paper and like the nub, like a ground down piece of lead from his pocket. What did you say the name of your institution was again? And we'll zip over to these two really quick.
Business name. I don't know if I was gonna have a business name
here.
Cover name. Shit. Okay.
You would have a cover name, right?
Welcome to my world.
We'll jump over here. The two of you have already sort of like spread out, I imagine, throughout the crowd. Unless anyone's taken point above, found their way up into the
No, I don't think we're doing that anymore.
Okay.
That was a fancy that I just couldn't.
I'll make you a harness anyway.
Oh.
Have you
Lower yourself on and up the bunk bed and then
Roll out.
Autobots. Have you decided to stick together or cover more ground by splitting up?
Okay, well, I guess the question is, we're trying to find these people, right? Is that a hunt action, or is this going to be more of a prowl action?
Why don't you tell me and we can decide together?
Well,
What are you planning on
prowling
doing?
is staying undetected, which I
Correct.
think we definitely want to do. Finding these people is hunting.
Well, I mean, you could also like consort to try to get information about like, hey, have you seen any shady meetings taking place? You wouldn't do that, but like, there are multiple ways of trying to figure this out.
Okay, how do you think we should? Do you have any way to?
For me, it's definitely prowl. I'm thinking just trying to stay as unobtrusive as possible, but like browsing the stalls and keeping my ears peeled, kind of thing. For anyone mentioning a meeting or that they're going to another area that maybe we don't know. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Any
I mean,
indication that there's another.
Definitely going to hear about a lot of meetings here, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
In other words, using prowl to try to get close to people without being noticeable.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, sure. Let's do a prowl action then.
So, would this then be, so this is my question for the both of you, do you want to take this action separately, in which case you'd have separate pools, and you can't assist each other, but you could potentially, take stress to add dice, or do you want to prowl together and potentially incur stress for, one of you is leading and one of you is following this action?
Let's keep it separate,
Yeah, I think that's better.
and we'll cover more ground.
Great, okay. So, yeah, sorry, just to be clear then. So you're rolling your prowl, both of you. This will be a risky action. At this moment, actually, it's controlled because you're in control of the situation. With possible standard effect, you might find out some information. You're gonna roll it? Let's
I fail.
Okay.
5 and 4.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The limited effect, it is a limited effect. Zane, you've managed to find yourself in a group of people, like a little throng of people who are moving excitedly from stall to stall. They are it's a group of school children, and they are squealing about, like trying to find new flavors, new candies that might be here at the Nightshade Market. Exactly. They're not carrying you along per se, but the squealing of these children has made it, unfortunately,
You little bastards.
you haven't been able to find anything out because of them at this
Fair.
time.
But I'm not penalized beyond I haven't found anything.
Limited effect.
Okay,
correct,
great.
Yeah, no. However, we're going to go over to Ollie here. Ollie, you do indeed, you have found your way down to the other end of the bazaar, where a merchant who is selling fish out of an aquarium, like lobsters rather, sorry, fish, crustaceans, come on, get it together, Scott, is currently excitedly chatting up a couple of tough-looking guys who are going back and forth between them. They seem to be arguing about which lobster would be better to serve the first guy's mother-in-law.
Okay.
I'm just looking for something, sorry, really quick.
Okay.
Right, there we go. As you're listening to them, you notice across the hall that there are, a group of 4 green-coated, thugs, for lack of a better word, mean-looking folks. They're carrying hooked clubs. They don't seem to be looking for trouble, which is good because it's mostly innocent civilians in this region right now. But they do look like they're on the hunt for something or someone. This could very well be the group of people that you're looking for. However, so the kind of consequence I'm imposing on you is that your action gave you, like your prowling here, they haven't noticed you. You've seen them, but to follow them or to figure out where they're going, you're going to have to find a new tactic, basically. You're going to have to find a new way in order to figure out where they might be going.
So I can't keep following them without risking being caught, so I need to...
We need to come up with another role.
Yeah.
Not a prowl role, essentially.
Okay, what do you have?
Well, okay, so...
Unless you want to follow them and then risk this becoming risky, right? Like, notice that they might indeed see that you're following them.
So I could potentially roll another prowl, but it would be risky instead of contained.
This is correct, yeah.
Okay.
Best I can offer is that I can use hunt to track them, to follow them, but I only have one. The only other thing that I have that isn't one die is sway, and I don't think we can sway people to be like, hey, do you mind just letting us into your meeting? Like, I don't think that's going to work.
I mean, you're very charming.
Not that charming. You see me? I'm kind of a little shit.
We could do a team prowl action as risky, maybe,
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
potentially.
This is essentially you're going to point this out to Zane.
I would go to Zane and be like,
Thing is, you don't need to come with me.
they're wearing green.
Okay. Because we don't both have to prowl with them. If it's a team action, then we're both going. And we're not both going, because we need you to make a distraction somewhere else, right?
Yes, as long as, like, if the meeting takes place too far away from where the market is.
That's true. Okay, then, yeah, because if they're moving away from the market, that's another question entirely,
That
which
is
would be
another question
bad.
Need to figure out where they're going.
All right, then, yeah, I'm down for a risky prowl.
Or, no, you prowl risky,
Okay.
and I'll watch where you go.
Okay.
But I won't go with you. And I'll go after you if you go too far away.
I'll just put a little flag.
Yeah.
Throw you.
A little bell on you, yeah.
Guys, if we get separated, we'll meet back at the Mickey Mouse, okay?
We're meeting back at whatever
at the
she's
shop,
named her shop. Do you have a name for your shop yet?
Dangerfield's legal
Docudrama.
documents.
Oh.
No, it's
Docudrama.
Molly Danvers is the name.
Very good.
I'm working on the
Totally cool. Hit me up.
business name.
5.
This risky action is successful with a consequence.
Seem to be an awful lot of those running around.
I know. Well, I mean, that's how this goes, right?
Yep.
The 4 the four folks in jackets, kind of one of them like notices something across the hall and whistles to the other 3, and they start to head out into the crowd. In order to pursue them through the crush of people directly,
Yeah.
this could become desperate.
I have to football kick a
small
kid.
child. They seem
I want it.
they seem to be heading towards like an alcove off to the side.
Oh, we never decided what our loadout is.
Ah,
We don't have. Oh, yeah. I'm always late.
Like,
I'm late too, but
great.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's something I should note as well. Okay, cool. So Zane, they seem to be heading to a small alcove, which of course you don't know where it goes necessarily in and of it on itself.
Yep.
If you want to pursue them into the crowd, you risk getting quite close to them and them noticing,
That's
them
okay.
noticing that you're following them.
That's fine.
This could be quite desperate.
So in other words, the next roll I make will be a desperate roll?
Correct.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Cool. All right.
I will take the consequence.
We're gonna go back over to Molly Danvers, was it?
Yeah.
Molly Danvers.
I like Molly Danvers. So are you? This is like a cover identity that you've kind of created for this, right? Do you have any equipment in your stall that might help this man sort of like? I mean, look, he's just curious for now.
Yeah. I definitely have some documents.
Okay.
My fine cover identity, as always.
Sure, of course.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at documents for now.
Okay.
I'm gonna call it Disappearing Ink. That's my name.
God, I love it. It's so good.
Disappearing ink.
Yeah.
Like ink as in INK or ink as in
INK.
incorporated?
Well,
No.
either, right? That's pretty good. Oh, that's actually really good, isn't it? Both of
I'm
those are
doing
fantastic.
INK. Sorry, John.
Oh.
You're smarter. You're
Schmort.
I'm not smarter than you. I
It's
was
good, though.
curious which one it
Yeah.
was.
The man, he's kind of like leaning in and having a look at the documents. I have a friend who has recently come here from, I've written it down somewhere. Ooh, I should know what this is called. Erudivian. I'm just going to look it up here real quick. He has come from afar to see the sights here in Duskfall as a diplomat, you understand? Eruvia, there we go. He may require some of your business. I believe he has some documentation that he needs notarized. Do you mind if I go and find him? I think he is currently shopping for some more...
certainly, but a diplomat would probably want a more reputable seal on his papers. No.
I did not believe that Disappearing Ink was disreputable. Is that what you mean?
I mean that he would probably prefer that he get someone like Booker, Clermont, and Savoy to sign off on his paperwork. A name that anyone who sees it would recognize. My personal work is for the people.
I understand. You are not refusing, but you are suggesting...
I'm happy to look at his documentation, but he's specifically looking for it to be notarized. I'm not a notary.
Ah, I understand. And you said this was your friend Booker?
I do believe that I mentioned the lawyer firm. There's a word, legal firm.
Yep.
Booker, Clermont, and Savoy.
So good.
And this, I'm going to just let you know, I'm establishing a fact, is that this is the legal company that she used to work for and that she still has a former worker to which she has an obligation.
Yes, that's correct. Right. Okay.
I've
Right,
established the name of the company.
Excellent. And this obligation has to do with your vice, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken. Or it is your
Yeah,
vice, I
yeah.
should say. Okay, cool. The inspector bows his head graciously. I will make my friend aware of this Chevalier and Savoy. No, that's not what I wrote down. But
Booker, Clermont, and Savoy. I'm making no claim to be a notary here.
No. You are. I understand. My apologies. I misunderstood. We will see you again, and I wish you the best of luck today in your search for business. Your search for business. He doesn't seem to think that he's made a mistake or anything like that. Miss?
And your name was?
Snap a snack.
Snap a snack?
Yeah, snap a snack.
Snap his
Holy
neck.
shit!
And your
That is
name
not
was?
my name. My name is Inspector Volai.
Inspector?
As in, yeah.
Inspector of what?
Great question. The inspectors are sort of a group of people that are imported, more or less, to investigate certain crimes here in Duskfall that can't be trusted to the Bluecoats. The Bluecoats have their own, like, they're more of a local police force, right? Keeping the peace. Inspectors are brought in specifically to sort of solve specific issues, if that makes sense. Internal Affairs, Sherlock Holmes. Very good. Inspector Volai bows his head, and he does not disappear into the crowd, but he sort of like shuffles off into the crowd. And disappearing ink is once again free to try to interact with the people around. You're maintaining a cover here at this shop. Are you attempting to like get people over to your like? Are you attempting to bring in business?
I'm attempting to
Make
be
some
a
coin
business
for us.
person who has a service on offer. So yes, I'm not trying to pretend that I'm just like waiting for people to come to me. So I'll be like, I don't know. I guess with my fine cover identity, I would have prepared a spiel, like, yeah.
Before we go back over to these two, then I will present to you this situation, which is that this gang of children that were previously sort of like screeching for sweets rush over to you, and they start kind of like hopping up to try to look behind your counter, like
Documents.
but they seem really excited about it. They're trying to figure out what's going on. The one who's like a little bit taller and he's got his little peaked cap on, he seems to be the ringleader. He's just like, "What do you do here, miss?"
I make sure that people who've been given documents
Uh-huh.
have real documents rather than a forgery. Because sometimes there are mean people in this city.
No way.
Yeah, so...
In Duskfall?
Yeah.
What, like they do, like, what kind of bad stuff do they do?
Like, they say, oh yeah, this is definitely a visa to let you have passage through the city. You belong here. And it's actually fake, and they just take your money and run away. There are mean people who do those things, and I want to make sure that people have the real documents.
Okay.
So if you're not sure,
Yeah.
you can come to me.
Well, I don't think I'm gonna need any documents, miss.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything for you kids.
Can I... This is a little unusual. I don't
Yeah.
normally ask for a roll, but I am gonna ask for a roll here. It's essentially a perception check, right? It's essentially
So
a
is
passive
this
perception check.
Insight? Or
I would...
survey?
It's probably surveying the crowd.
Great, I will survey.
You can, however, of course, do what you normally do, which is if there's teamwork that can be brought by your friends, they're not there. Right?
I'm
that's
focused on
fine.
something else.
Or you can push yourself, take 2 stress, or get a devil's bargain potentially as well. But this is
Controlled, risky, desperate?
no. This is a controlled action. No
All
problem.
right,
You're just
because-
surveying the crowd in front of you.
Right. Because if I get 1 to 3, I can press on by seizing risky opportunities. So I could try something else. But if I get a medium, I get a thing, but not a thing.
I get a thing, but not a thing. Exactly.
So what would a devil's bargain be here?
I would.
The kids, you have to adopt them.
All of them. My devil's bargain is that by making it clear that you're on the lookout in the crowd, the children will be this gang of children. Sorry, will. It's not that they become suspicious of you. It's that they might be. They're going to focus on your shop stall for the rest of the night. Like they're going to try to bother you.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, so that sounds about right. Yeah,
I'll take my 2 dice.
that sounds
See
good.
what happens. 4.
Okay.
Limited success.
What I'm going to say then is, Maureen, out of the corner of your eye, there were 9 children at your stall, and when you do a quick head count, there are only 8. Out of the corner of your eye, the smallest, a little dark-haired, waifish girl, has snuck around and is attempting to find out what is in the back of your stall.
All right, we need some waif on waif violence.
She's attempting to steal from you for your
I've got
business.
fine wrecking tools.
So without fully turning to the child, I like to reach back and like
Oh my god.
take, either their shoulder or their arm or their wrist or something like that.
Hair.
Just gently. No, gently.
Oh,
Just like pull them back, like back towards the front.
okay. The
Yeah, without really looking at them. So
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
waiting for like their reaction.
You can absolutely the tallest boy,
Yeah.
the ringleader. His eyes immediately dart to this
Yeah.
girl coming around from the side, and he's just like, "Oh, okay. Guess that didn't work out very well."
Sadly, these kids probably have a higher tier gang than
Yeah,
we do.
yeah.
Hard to hide of them, right? Can you
It
imagine?
doesn't take much.
Tier 1 weak hold though. The hopscotch cartyard is not.
Now, working with official documents, I also know how to talk to officials and speak their language.
What do you mean officials?
People that wouldn't take kindly to children stealing from people's stalls.
Well, there's no
Look,
stealing happening here, miss.
know that some of your friends are quite young and maybe don't understand what it means to own something or something to belong to a person you can't just take because you want it. So if you want to talk to your friend, quick little glance towards the friend, I won't make any bother.
Come on, guys, let's get out of here. Probably doesn't have anything worth stealing anyway.
Paper.
Papers. So
Yeah, like I literally say that to them.
Yeah. They
The grenades are behind the papers.
they're tucked into, they're like wrapped up in the paper.
Stash.
They do indeed take off. At a run, they don't vanish into the crowd, but you can hear them kind of squealing and making noise as they probably go to find a juicier target, perhaps a lobster. We're back over to Zane and Ollie now. Where am I? Here, hang on 2 seconds. There we go. The 4 green-coated figures have vanished into the small little alcove behind a stall. As you make your way towards them, Ollie, you're keeping a safe distance, I believe, right?
Yes.
This alcove opens into a room behind, but you can also see there's a stairwell that leads up to the rafters above. Not the rafters, the sort of balcony, if you will, the walkway above. A couple of them are heading up the stairs. A couple of them are heading back further into the room. This is most likely where the meeting is taking place. You don't recognize these people as members of a gang particularly, but their spiked clubs might imply membership in a relatively famed gang of like thugs, the Bill Hooks.
Okay.
What is it?
You know, I'm just saying, like this is a suspicion.
They're a tier 2 gang.
This is a suspicion that Zane has.
Meat cold.
Yeah, they're part of the sort of they're part of the big battle that's ongoing in Crowsfoot, which is one of the neighborhoods here in Duskfall. That's something that you guys haven't gotten involved in. It's a little messy. You probably don't want to go there. Zane, this is probably where the meeting is going to happen, is further into this room behind.
Not upstairs.
I don't believe so. Upstairs would be this walkway, which is relatively exposed.
Okay.
You can see, if you watch, a couple of the kind of thugs are venturing and appear on the walkway where they're lighting up cigarettes, chatting with each other, and generally keeping an eye out.
All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm donning my fine shadow cloak.
Okay?
I'm going to see if I can prowl into... does this building have any openings aside from the door? Does it have any windows? Does it have any other points of ingress?
Does it have any other points of ingress? Yeah, there's essentially large doors at the front and back so that people can flow through the market.
Okay.
There would be a few other windows behind some of the stalls that open out. Yep.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to don my fine shadow cloak. I'm
Okay.
going to prowl, and I'm going to place the device that Waif gave me.
Mm-hmm. Outside, essentially.
Well, as close to them as I can get.
Okay, to attempt to record some of the
To
audio.
attempt to
that's being-
record the meeting, yeah.
Cool. That's not a bad move, because they've obviously chosen this because it's a busy place and they're less likely to be overheard because of the din in the actual bazaar or market, right? So by placing the device kind of closer to it, that's going to make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Cool. This is you're going to have to not just prowl past shopkeepers, crowd members who might be of interest, perhaps passing bluecoats, who knows, but also these 4 gang members who are specifically on the lookout for trouble. It's a desperate action.
Yeah.
It would have standard effect. You'd be able to place this device.
Will we need to flash back to the device?
Yeah, we do. What is this device? Can we discuss it?
So I have appropriated a small box, and it is powered by don't.
I'm ready.
Don't
I'm
read
so
into
ready.
this.
I'm so ready for this.
So all
Okay.
my time spent by the canal, I came across a fisherman who was throwing out an old rod that wasn't working anymore, and I took the real part of the rod, so you can crank it.
Okay. It's a cranky box.
So you crank a rod to power your small box.
Exactly. And I called
See what I have
it
to
the
deal
cranky
with
box. So it's really just
Okay.
yeah, and it can only record up to, let's say, like 10 seconds at a time before it needs to be cranked again.
So that makes it absolutely useless to
No,
us.
you just make sure it's recording the right stuff. It's a tiny box.
I have to leave it in a location.
All right, maybe we'll see how good my roll is before we determine how shitty
I would
it
say.
is. Fine.
I would say.
Why would you make it suck?
Because I'm
The knocker contraption.
I keep looking for the knocker flaw.
No, so Liz, what I'm going to suggest is that Ollie's able to build this thing. Normally in a flashback, you don't even necessarily have to roll. You take stress based on how likely it is that you were able to accomplish this feat. However,
Yes.
I'm going to suggest that in order for this device to function as you wish, it will cost you 3 stress. If you would prefer, you may tinker. And if this is a successful roll, it will cost less stress for this to work the way you want it to. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and if it fails, then I take the full 3 stress, or it just doesn't work at all.
No. That would be really, like, you just bring the device out and it's just like a fucking empty box that
That's
does nothing.
performance anxiety.
I owe you one recording device.
Love away.
Yeah. No. So this device will work. The question is how much stress it cost you to make.
So I'd like to do my tinker roll first and hopefully end up taking less stress.
That would make sense to me, yeah. So you're going to...
For my weird little fishing rod cranky box.
I know exactly what it is you're trying to build and I love it.
Thank you for not making me describe it more.
Okay.
Wow.
3
success.
6s.
I'm sorry. 3 successes?
This is the best.
That's
This is the
thing I've
best
ever-
cranky box ever. I'm gonna take a
really
picture
good.
of this
I thought you
roll.
wanted a Jack in the Box.
So that's 1 in 216 rolls. Is
I
gonna
mean,
look
that
like
is unbelievable. It's going on the Discord, folks. Don't worry. That's... I mean, you definitely want that on a tinker roll for a recording device. Look, this recording device is
It
amazing.
means it'll be reusable in future heists.
Yeah, can I keep it?
Yeah, you can even name
It's
it
a
later.
puppy.
Cranky box.
Can I keep
Oh my
it?
gosh, it's my name. What are you talking about?
I promise I'll feed it and I'll crank it every day. Wait, I do that already.
Oh no! All right. This is a critical success.
And how?
Not only does it cost you, I'm still gonna make you pay 1 stress. I'm still gonna make you pay 1 stress
Very well.
because Liz,
Yes.
it's somewhat unlikely that you would be able to just fucking make a thing like this anyway. It's like pretty wild.
Look, I'm brilliant.
I know. I'm not saying.
sometimes.
I'm not saying Wave isn't brilliant. You're gonna pay 1 stress. However, the device will record for up to 1 hour.
Fuck yeah.
So you don't need to reek or jigger with it unless it breaks for some reason or whatever. It gets broken. And it is quite finely tuned and relatively directional, which actually makes it quite ideal for these circumstances because you want to point it away from the crowd and towards a meeting.
I accidentally just pointed towards my own heartbeat. Like, here, we got all the evidence. Sounds like you were pretty nervous there. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Okay.
There's a little listening device attached to it, like a little earbud, basically, where if you put it in, you can listen back right away. But I also have speakers back at the lair if we want to.
Okay,
If we want to have a big listening party.
So you've also developed earbuds.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's essentially a stethoscope.
It's powered by a fucking fishing rod.
Okay.
I need to be able to drop this off later on to our cover here so
Yeah.
you can listen to it.
Well, you'll theoretically have what you need, right?
This is a desperate prowl action?
This is a desperate prowl action.
What kind of
to make
devil's
sure that
bargain
happens.
can you give me on this puppy?
your intended effect is to plant this device with nobody noticing. So I cannot offer you a bargain that says, well, somebody's gonna notice, right? So that would be
that would reduce the point.
that would be very silly. I'm gonna offer you a devil's bargain, John.
Yeah.
You will overhear something that will be of great interest to Zane. And it will tick 2 more ticks on Zane.
That will complete them. That will complete it, won't it?
I think we had 5 of 8, but I'm just gonna check. That's okay. I have 5 of 8 written down, so this would take it to 7 of 8.
I can't afford that. I'll just take 2 stress.
All right. So you're not interested in what it says. Cool. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I can't get myself personally involved yet.
Right.
One day I'll be desperate. Today I still have the stress.
Today, not so desperate.
So, is there anything that I get for being able to don this fine shadow cloak?
Does it say anything there?
It's an item that I have access to. Fine shadow cloak.
I'm going to see if I have access to any information about it.
It would possibly be in the whatever your splat is called.
The
in
lurk.
the lurk.
Can
You
I
may.
have the book, please?
Here you go.
Cute. Fine shadow cloak, a hooded cloak made of rare Eruvian shadow silk that blends in the darkness around it. This item improves your effect level when you sneak around.
Excellent.
So it improves my effect.
Like my silent sold shoes that will one day and
So this would take your standard effect of like you plant the device and you get out and nobody notices to great effect
Oh, here we go.
if you succeed.
All right.
This is a desperate roll, right? So you're,
Come on, just roll 5 6s.
I mean, honestly,
All
unbelievable.
right, well, you know.
Just do it.
I'm gonna look at these consequences.
Come on, Zane.
Here we go.
Yeah.
6.
Okay.
Especially because my other dice were 1, 2, 3, and 3.
I saw that.
It's all right. You just need the one.
Yep.
Shit. Okay, yeah, there it is. There's the 6.
Zane.
Yeah.
By donning this cloak, essentially, you've trained in the art of misdirection and making sure that you kind of blend in with the crowd at the right moment and find your way out of one of the nearby windows, out onto essentially the back alley behind Nightshade Bazaar. This alcove inside the bazaar does indeed have windows. Great effect. One of them's even cracked open slightly. You can see if you stay here.
Oh, I'm going to stay because that way I can just take it with me when I leave.
Awesome.
I don't have to get back here. That would suck.
Yeah. The device is, I mean, honestly, it's pretty impressive for something that was created in a day. It was put together by Waif.
Thanks, Waif.
It's pretty impressive as far as devices go, and it's easily plantable just below the window, but directed inside. If you choose to listen in as well, you will be able to hear with crystal clarity a few voices on the inside. 2 nervous male voices speaking back and forth. And they're in the midst of saying, you think she's going to show up? Yeah, of course she's going to show up. They need us, don't they? Yeah, just hold your horses and sit down. Stop doing that. Just stop smoothing your... Just you're like a smack on the arm or on the face.
I'm going to stay concealed in the shadows with a recording device, and I'm just going to wait until this meeting looks like it's going to get started, and then I'm going to start the recording.
Absolutely. We're going to go back to Waif, who is inside, who has created this magical recording box.
Yes.
Waif. There are 2 more two of these green-coated figures are on the ledge outside above the Nightshade Bazaar. They're kind of looking down and tracking people coming and going. They seem to be doing it quite casually, but their weapons say otherwise, right? It's possible. I mean, they're probably waiting for the other member of this meeting to arrive. However, they're also monitoring pretty much the only entrance and exit from this alcove. So, when it comes time for people to leave or come or go, they're going to be on the lookout for any suspicious activity. Is there an action, and I am going to offer this to you, right? Is there an action that you want to try to take to either distract them, reduce their effect level, try to get them to move away from this for a moment? Is there anything that you want to do with these two figures? Because I'm super happy for you to be like, nope, Zane's got it under control, like it's fine. But I'm offering you the option of these two figures are there.
I am trying to figure out if there's one of my bandoliers. Like I've got a whole bunch of crap that I could have in them, and I'm looking for something that looks like it could be an accident, not like sabotage. That I could like maybe plant near the exit as people are leaving, or something like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure exactly. There's a lot of stuff.
A couple options. There are, as I mentioned, there are electric lights high above, in the sort of vaulted rafters of this place. It's possible that one of them could start leaking like electroplasm, which is a relatively dangerous substance that people would be scared of interacting with. So you could make it seem like there's a leak happening at one of the lights.
Okay.
Similarly, there's also some oil lamps. Some of the stalls themselves are like, bathed in like the warm glow of oil lamps. Similarly, you could create what looks like an accident, a leak, which would maybe cause some... You're looking to cause like panic in people who are leaving, or a distraction for the people above?
It would be a distraction for the people above because of the panic. Like panic without injury, but that they're looking at that while Zane is getting the fuck out of that.
Right, sure.
exit.
Yeah, that sounds good. So, I think either of those could accomplish this quite well. There's always going to be risk and consequences, right? If you're trying to make something look dangerous, it could be dangerous.
Yeah.
I don't know how much Waif would care about that.
I don't know. Let me review the list a little bit
Think
more.
about that for a
Consider
second.
what you.
We're going to come back to you because we're going to go over to Morian. Morian, you watch as, again, figures kind of come and go in front of the stall. Some people cast a wary glance. You're nestled between other like non-food related vendors, but like they're not. That's not the reason you come to Nightshade Bazaar in the first place. That said, sometimes these things happen. A figure approaches you. How do I want to do this here? Yeah. A figure approaches you. It's a young woman. She's wearing the outfit is relatively particular in that it's quite put together. It's sort of a dark, tight-fitted, almost sort of a catsuit situation with like leather buckles on it.
It's biting my fashion.
How dare she? She has short-cropped blonde hair and sort of a nice bright smile. And she comes up to your stall and just sort of flashes you a winning grin. Hi, how are you?
Good, and yourself?
Very well, thank you. I have a rather unusual proposal for you. And she takes out some documentation. It seems to be a lease for a home, or rather, a tenement in this case. And she leans in and she says, I'm wondering if you could review these documents. I'm not quite sure if they were, presented to me on the level.
That's exactly what I'm here for.
She leans over to tap a place at the bottom. They do seem to be like tenement lease documents. They've already been signed and stamped. As she leans over to tap it, she kind of comes in a bit closer and she says, do you mind holding something for me for a few minutes?
Uh-oh.
So I keep flipping through pages.
Do it.
You see this clause here, and I'm going to find one of those like yes/no questions of like, are you
unbelievable.
like include stove, yes or no, or like those kinds of things. I'm going to tap on the yes.
Include eels.
It's a waterfront property. It's a very important thing to do here. Yeah.
So this could cause some trouble. I say, tapping the yes.
Oh fuck.
Oh, she shakes her head. No, I don't believe it would. Do you?
So you're pretty sure that this will be okay? You're not too concerned about this?
Just for a few minutes. No, I'm not too concerned.
All right, I'll take a few minutes to look over these documents in full detail, make sure that the notary is actually a notary, that their seal is done with the proper materials.
She, in one deft motion, produces a dark velvet bag. It clinks slightly as she places it on the counter. She's already kind of turning to go, and she goes, "Oh, excellent! I hear they have live lobsters further down the road." It's relatively hefty. It clinks.
I'm gonna watch her.
She's
Watch her go.
all the way down to the end
And then
and out the building.
I'd like to scan the room and see if anyone's watching me.
Great question. I'm gonna make a fortune roll just to see.
Yeah.
This is a success. It would seem no. It would seem that there is not anyone sort of who observed this interaction particularly.
I'm going to take the document, turn towards the other stack of papers, and then reach under my desk for some of my other materials. And while I do so, I want to see what the fuck's in this bag.
Absolutely.
Finesse it open in case it's trapped.
Can you imagine? Holy shit! Just explodes. It's very possible. It's a small velvet bag.
So that she won't know that you opened it.
Oh, yeah. I definitely want to make sure that that's, like, yeah. I want to sneak a peek, know what's in there, and not have it know.
I'm
But
totally
that's why I
cool with
watched her go, was where my brain was.
No,
and
totally.
Make sure I'm not being seen, but yeah.
But it's true. This whatever's inside might be not resistant to tampering.
It's the Great Contagion.
Yep. Oh, not again.
Not again.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a finesse roll. I would say it's a risky move because you might potentially tamper with the bag in such a way that it will be obvious that you opened it. Standard effect. You can, of course, push yourself by taking 2 stress. You can probably not ask your teammates, and I don't know if a flashback would work here.
Take 2 stress.
Okay, cool. This adds +1 die to your roll. If you
I may as well roll the die if I paid
I was
for
gonna
it.
say, like, if you're paying for it.
5.
Whoa. Woof. I saw those ones from over here. The bag is not trapped per se. It has been tied in such a way that sneaking a peek and putting it back together will take some time. So my intended consequence here is that you succeed, but you get reduced effect in that you can only peek rather than look, if that makes sense.
In full detail, yeah. I get a sense of what it is, but like if it's a bunch of papers, I can't read them. Or if it's like an intricate box, I can't open the box. Yeah. Gotcha.
6 small vials.
It is the Great Contagion.
It is entirely possible. We're back over to Zane. Zane, you're outside. You've got this device in. Got this device ready to go. You hear the sound of clicking boots entering this little alcove as well, and you hear the 2 dudes like, "Shut up! No, shut up! Shut up!" You know, they're nudging each other, and there's silence for a moment. A muffled voice. Sorry, you're watching as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're able
I've got
to.
the
You're
crack
able
in
to
the
see.
window.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, great effect, right?
Yeah.
The person who enters the room is a relatively small figure. The reason I say figure is because they are dressed fully head to toe black, wearing a mask. This mask is also a relatively full white face mask, large kind of goggles over the eyes. This disguises their. It looks like a wraith.
Fuck! Kill it.
Never mind. I was like,
It
who can match
seems
that?
it would be. I mean, look, they obviously would wear disguises when they're out in public, right? Like they don't want their selves to be known necessarily. The voice is also muffled because of the mask. It's still you can hear it, but you can't identify male, female characteristics, whatever. The figure kind of stands and clasps their hands behind their back and looks between the 2 gentlemen before them, and kind of, turns up the mask's nose. Well, I want to call this meeting to order. What do you have for me? The two, thugs kind of bungle between them something. Not a thing, sorry. They just like bungle between them and then decide that one of them is like the better speaker. And he stands up and he's like, okay. He's like, all right, we've reviewed your proposal and we're ready to help. We haven't exactly, we've spoken to Tommy, but he wasn't particularly interested, so we're going to be acting of our own accord.
I flicked on the recording, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. They hold up their hand. This gloved hand, obviously. And holds up a single finger. You're telling me that you asked your boss for permission, didn't get it, and you're here anyway? And the two of them are like, well, yeah, I mean, we really want the contract. I mean, this is going to be pretty rich, right? And the other one's like, lucrative. Use lucrative. Yeah, lucrative. That's a good word. And again, the figure kind of like clasps the finger into a fist and tightens it. The gala is in 3 nights, and you want to get me entangled with your whole gang. That's what this is. This is a setup. You've set me up. And the two, you can see the two of them shaking their heads. The figure reaches around behind them and grasps something. You'd have to kind of move from where you are currently to see what they're holding. It's a gap in a window. You can't see the whole room. Now you're gonna listen to me. You either get Tommy's permission and you get the whole group on board with this plan, or there's no deal. All right? I'm gonna need the whole group on board, or nothing is happening. And I'll even, as a show of good faith, you can find what you need at a stall just a few doors down from here. Disappearing ink. That's where we left it. Pick it up. Take it out of here. Come back to me in 2 days' time and tell me that Tommy is on board. The man who is sitting stands and pushes his partner out of the way and kind of like walks up to the figure. He's got his chest jutting out or whatever. He's like, no, hey, there's 4 of us and 1 of you. I don't think you know who you're dealing with. He's got this giant sort of spiked club that he's dragged along the ground. I don't think you know who you're dealing with there. What we say is gonna go. You're dealing with us now. You're not dealing with the bill hooks. You're dealing with these bill hooks. Capiche? There's a laugh. And then, Zane, you hear a whistling sound. And then another one. And the 2 men in the green coats fall down. Small arrows, crossbow bolts through their neck.
I take the recording device.
Yeah.
I'm in the back areas now, right?
Yeah.
I am going to move as quietly but as quickly as I can back to our good friends
At Disappearing Ink? Or these 2?
Danvers Disappearing Ink.
Nice.
I like it. Okay.
Because we have to decide real quick whether we want to fuck these people over or not, and what do we... Oh, God.
This one person indeed seems... I mean, I would argue that they seem pretty dangerous. I just murdered a couple people in cold blood. Ollie, if you're watching, there's... I wouldn't call it a commotion, but the two people up at the top kind of are still peering down, and then one of them nudges the other, and they like look back into the alcove behind them, and they start clanging down the stairs into that place where the meeting was happening, so away from you this time.
Okay.
You're gonna do this, Zane. You're gonna try to get away without being noticed, I imagine. That's the goal.
Fucking hope not. I already prowled my way up in here.
Yeah, you did. Do you want to roll this for me?
It's a prowl action?
Well, how are you getting there?
Prowling away.
Cool. This is, how It's risky. The person may indeed see you and may react to the fact that, well, they you know, this is just an alleyway, right? Like, this is a back.
So it's a risky action.
Risky action.
I have 3 stress remaining before I start taking trauma.
Oh boy.
What kind of devil's bargain can you give me? Oh shit! I don't like this.
I feel like I should be assisting with one of my things. I've just got
I can also
like
foresight.
Yeah. Okay. So great shout. Right. So yeah, once or twice per score, you can, if we can construct a way for this to happen, make it so that
I help.
that you've helped and that you don't have to take stress.
Mm.
Similarly, in this moment, Waif could create that distraction that you were thinking of, which might direct attention away from at least the stall for a few moments, if nothing else.
If she creates a distraction, can we lower the risk?
Yeah, to make it a controlled prowl instead.
Yeah, and then can she help me so that I can get the fuck out of here without dying?
Quite like this. Yes. So I'm gonna ask. Well, we're gonna come.
Yeah.
Do you wanna?
Well, I still need to talk it through, I think, because
Okay.
I'm feeling the overwhelmed of all the stuff that
It's totally
around
cool.
tinkering.
Absolutely. Can I deal with this then first? Do you mind? And then
Sure,
we'll
as long as my thing doesn't impact them.
100%.
Great.
It should be fine.
Absolutely.
Because this will allow this to become a controlled roll. But I want to know how we've prepared for this eventuality.
Your declared action is GTFO back here.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we came in to set up the stall, knowing that the meeting could happen anywhere, but probably not in the center of the show floor, we would have taken some time to check the exits and know where the pathways were, and to route out where exactly all the entrances and exits and back rooms, how they connect. So we basically would have spent most of the day doing that while Friendo was tinkering back home. So I would have given our friend some blueprints.
Ah, there you go.
That's
Great.
one of my load that is
Perfect.
now his.
Yeah.
So that's my assistance.
While we were doing that, can we also have sprinkled maybe some broken pottery or glass behind so that when I step on it, you'll know that
Oh, like
that
an
it's you?
alarm system?
it's an alarm system if anybody is sneaking up behind you, but that if the
Oh,
thing
that
is-
you'll know. So it's a sneak up on me alarm system.
Yeah.
So that you know it's him coming for you.
Is that going to add to this role? Like, I feel like that's establishing an extra thing.
Yeah, it's just for
That-
fun.
Okay.
It's for flavor. I like it.
The flavor,
I'm
great.
super
Awesome.
happy with this
I
being
just
a
don't want to
+1.
complicate his
No,
role for the sake of saving me from
no.
yeah.
all
Great.
No, it's specifically so that when you hear crunching, you know it's me.
Oh, that
I'm
it
not
is
putting it
you.
like everywhere.
Oh, I
I'm
thought it
putting
was
it in
the
like a
opposite.
little
Okay.
place that I can just kind of go crunch and
This
you'll
is me.
know.
Okay.
So that it's not like a knock because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
worried
yeah.
that someone else would know.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna. We'll make this. We'll hopefully be able to make this a controlled roll for you. We're gonna go over. So, what are your concerns?
So there are a few options.
Yes.
I have for free blowgun and darts.
Okay.
My question to you is.
Yeah. No, tell me.
You're gonna wreck shit with your blowgun and darts.
I'm
It
super
could be
down.
loaded with trance powder,
Yes,
which
it could.
means I could pooey to the guards and like they would suddenly get all tripped out. But my question is, what kind of roll is that? Because I don't know what a blowgun roll is.
That's a good question.
Finesse?
Yeah.
I
So,
don't
so you
know.
could. So my.
Don't have any finesse, so that's no bueno.
Uh-oh.
It could be. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it could be a wrecking action in the
Okay.
sense that you're doing it like 2 shots really fast, and it's kind of fast and dirty. It's
Yeah.
closer to like skirmishing, but with a blowgun.
Okay, good to bear in mind. And then other things I can do, I could say that my bandolier has fire oil, which creates a fire.
Yeah,
So I could do that, which I assume would be more of a
that would
wreck.
be wrecking for sure. Yeah.
So
But
that's
is it that you're going to have to make a roll in order to make mine?
that's it. Like I'm
'Cause
not
that's
sure.
not
'cause
as useful.
That's a little risky because I only have a pool of 1 in wreck, so maybe that's not.
Like, is it a roll or is it just that you're creating a distraction and that's because we set that up?
Yeah.
So the blowgun thing would be risky, and you'd have to roll for it.
Yeah.
If you want to use fire oil,
Yeah.
that's doable. I think that's totally cool.
Because fire oil can just be like yeeted wherever.
It could, yes. No, I'm not going to say there won't necessarily be consequences, but we'll get there.
I like living
That
in
works
a
for
world
me.
where you're like, oh, a blowgun, that's kind of risky, but fire oil, whatever.
Big deal.
Fine.
Yeah.
All right,
You're
I gotta
doer.
I gotta get back to Thistle here.
Cool. So we're going to make this. Well, do you want to describe to me what you're doing essentially? You're starting a small fire.
Yeah, erupts in searing flame upon contact with air.
Cool. Oh, okay. Oh, damn. Okay, so you've created a controlled burn at the end of this night market, or market rather, so that people are moving away from it and trying to
Exactly.
escape.
Exactly. So that Zane just becomes one of the fleeing crowd.
Love that. Cool. That's done. Done. Absolutely
Thank you.
controlled.
5.
Okay. That means
Thanks
that
for the help.
yeah. The effect. Woo! Yeah, that is good. That's definitely that one, right?
It was the last one I dropped.
I'm going to give you harm as your complication.
A controlled action?
Oh no, it is control. You're right. Sorry, I was looking at consequences.
Jesus.
Sorry. Because if it was risky, yeah, we would talk harm. No, you're good. Okay, good. You've essentially taken this little like magic motion box. You've taken this box and you've run around and you're crunching on the pottery behind the stall, yeah, to make sure that Maureen.
I mean, I totally accept a complication. I
No,
just
but
don't
not
know if
harm, yeah.
is the.
No, for sure. I was thinking about risky ones. No, I'm gonna let this play out. In the sense that there's already complications happening. The two other green coats are trying to engage this wraith in the back,
Okay.
so the fight is beginning.
Okay.
Okay, we've
Crunch.
yeah. Gasp.
I will like slightly tilt my head, but I'm still keeping my eyes out on the crowd.
There's something in this stall that was left behind by somebody who just iced 2 of the people who we were just listening to.
So do I exchange their vials in the bag? Do I put one of my vials in, take one of the vials out?
Whoever gave it to you is a wraith.
Great.
So
then
we
I
have
just play nice.
we have 2 opportunities. 1, we screw over the wraiths and hope that they don't find out it was us. 2, we let them know it was us, that we helped them, and hopefully that quashes some of the beef.
So was it the lady who dropped it off and she's picking it up again, or is someone else coming to get it from me?
Other people are coming to get it.
So
from
then
you.
we can make
You
other
didn't see
people
the lady
mad at
in-
her.
Yeah. Yeah, that.
But the dudes are clearly not wraiths. And
That
they
is-
were
yes.
told to pick it up, right?
Yeah, the dudes are not wraiths.
The two in
Yeah.
the green coats were identified as members of the billhooks.
Yeah.
They are now dead. The 2 of them. There are 2 more. You know.
But sorry, like just so that I can shorthand our conversation. The information I'm trying to get is like who's gonna take the bag from me?
That's-
The
And
bill
the
hooks are
conversation
taking it.
implied that it's the bill hooks.
Yes.
So then, if
She's
I
just fired
exchange the
upon them.
contents, the bill hooks would be mad at the wraith for giving them incomplete content.
Correct.
However, the wraith just killed 2 of them and may come back for the stuff on her own.
Cool. So then we leave it unattended and we just play nice, and either we did good for the wraith or we did good for the wraith.
Basically.
I like it.
Okay. You should probably get gone and safe with whatever you got on you.
I'm just gonna leave. Thanks.
Welcome.
I'm gonna take very good care of this device because I don't want to see Waif upset.
Aw, that's nice.
Thanks.
I feel like that she doesn't deserve it.
I worked really hard.
You did, and it worked really. I hope it worked really well.
Because we'll
Can you imagine if it just doesn't work at all?
Click.
There is a
Oh,
castle.
well, we still did listen to it.
Yes, you
Evidence
were,
was
yes,
the bonus.
Yes, that's true. So
All
you know at least part of what the
Yeah.
contents were. A figure approaches the stall. Well, I should also point out, Morian, there's a small fire that's broken out at one end of the room. Now, you know that Waif was maybe going to create a distraction. It seems to be controlled. It's not threatening to destroy this building, but it is causing a bit of a panic as people are starting to
into my
move.
satchel.
Time to go.
Melting out of the crowd is a figure in, again, sort of this skin-tight black suit, some leather belts. This figure is wearing a mask. I would say you would be hard-pressed to know if it's the same person who dropped things off
No,
with
of
you.
course not. I'm just gently shuffling the bag between my feet so that I'm like press the bag between my feet, so that like I'm holding onto it a bit.
The figure approaches and speaks through the mask and says, "Hey, I think you're hanging on to something for me," and extends a hand.
The lease?
I think there was something that came with the house.
I was asked to hold on to it for someone. I wasn't told to give it to anyone else.
The figure's gloved hand kind of contracts a little bit, and then the figure raises the mask, and you can see the bottom half of the face. It's a feminine form, and it is this woman. How about, why don't you just pass it nice and easy? We don't need any trouble. You've done us a great favor.
I hope you remember that. And I reach down.
If I ever need any ink disappeared, I know where to go.
Drop our name.
No, I do hope that you remember that I helped the wraiths.
And the package is passed over.
I had an opportunity not to.
We're Danvers Angels.
We do still need a crew name. I'll just point that out if it ever too. The figure smiles wryly and, again, in one swift motion, pockets this velvet bag.
That was free of charge. Next time it won't be.
The mask, there's a hint of a frown, and then the mask descends. It nods at you, and then disappears back into the surging crowd.
The cranky boxers.
And then take my sign.
I'm not going to be using this anymore. Fold it up, put it away. The stall, of course, is not your responsibility,
No.
but the stuff in it is.
Sign is, yeah.
Where are we taking this material? Straight back to Rowan?
I'm
Or
going
back
to,
to
no,
the-
I want to
back to
make
the
sure
lair.
that all three of us have a chance to listen to it first.
Absolutely.
Then I want to take it straight to
Yeah,
Rowan.
that makes
but
sense.
let's just make sure that the three of us are safe and sound.
I don't have the world map with me, but like, is Night Market, Six Towers,
It's
downland?
no. They're well. It's maybe a bit hard to see here, but
then
no,
thank you, that works
not
for me.
necessarily. Night Market is sort of to the just to the south of Six Towers, which is in the east part of the city, right?
Yeah.
So it's not. I mean, they're neighboring. They're neighboring neighborhoods.
Up and back down.
Just hire a
Or we
gondola.
just
We can talk about it
yeah,
on
hop on
a
the
gondola.
gondola.
shit,
Our good
okay.
friends the gondoliers, and we'll listen to it on the gondolier.
Oh, Sklardicus.
What did?
That's so sad.
It's okay, you'll
Oh,
have another
no.
weekend next weekend.
Exactly. That's
There's
the best
always
part about
another one up
weekends.
ahead.
Sklardicusp. So we're hopping on a gondola and listening to the material. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah.
Shh. Okay. Sounds good. The cranky box, as you've decided to call it, replays the conversation for the two of you who didn't hear it the first time. It's the sound of two male voices and one masked figure who you would be able to identify as this blonde.
I can describe her.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, can you say that again? You can.
Describe her?
It's funny. I mean, we'll come back to that. Sorry.
Oh no.
The description tweaks
tells
something for you, Zane.
Oh.
You slept with her.
Oh no, it's probably my family.
That would be worse.
And probably means I didn't sleep with them.
Probably.
Poor Zane.
On the gondola, sort of gliding gently under bridges, heading towards,
The gym.
yes, in Dunslow.
Yeah.
You're replaying the message. The content of this conversation was that the Wraith wanted the assistance of these billhooks, but the billhooks were supposed to bring, the whole assistance of their gang to bear and
Get
did not.
Tommy's permission.
Correct. and they did not. They wanted to sort of cut a deal on the side. She was not happy about it. And then, Zane, you hear a phrase kind of uttered once more by the figure in the mask, which of course is muffled. The figure kind of, at one point, like, shook her head, right? And said something along the lines of, I need you to do this for me. I need you to be able to tell me that Tommy is going to get the whole gang in on it.
Yeah.
Something about the word need tweaks in you, and I'm going to flash us back to a conversation you had a few months ago. While you were coming out of the Centuralian dinner club, whatever, supper,
Yep,
whatever
Centuralia.
it is. Centuralia, supper club. You were accosted for the first time by a beggar in the street who asked you for money, right? Short-cropped, dark hair.
Yeah.
Telda was her name.
Yeah.
And at that time, when perhaps you had given her some, perhaps you had given her none, but when she demanded that she needed more from you because she knew you had it, you can hear that same quality of tone in the need. The figure in the mask, the wraith, is Telda. And I think we're going to end the session here. Woo!
You were so mean to her, too.
No. He was pretty nice. She was okay, right?
Yeah.
It's probably fine.
I mean, we had a really... Oh, it was before we started streaming, but I mean, that was pretty...
You had that conversation
That was
with her,
pretty
that's true.
unpleasant
Sounds good.
conversation.
He just has to answer them.
Yeah, of course. Drama! Oh, hi, Avatar. Sorry,
hi.
I figured you'd been here the whole time. I didn't even notice. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Awesome. Okay. Well, that brings us to the end of session 2 of Blades in the Dark, Whispers in the Water. As we like to do at this point, we will probably go over some experience. We're going to talk a little bit about what we learned, what we like, highlight other players' play in the system. A reminder to folks in the chat, this is a RPGClinic mini campaign, which means that we are playing it with the intention of only playing a certain number of sessions. Sort of, it's limited edition is what I'm getting at here, because I'm also not the usual ST. I'm on this side, yada, yada, yada. All that to say, if you have thoughts about Blades in the Dark, you can head to our Discord and you can drop them there. There's a Blades in the Dark channel where you can discuss general thoughts about the stream, what you think is cool, what you think is working, thoughts you have about thoughts you have for me or any of us. If you want to discuss specifically what happened in this session, I would stick to Blades in the Dark spoilers, BITD spoilers. Cool. Okay, Avatar, that's awesome, and Scruff, thank you very much. Very cool. But I do invite people to come and discuss there. If we end up having scenes that we think are going to be cool to roleplay out but aren't on a Sunday during stream, they may end up in the Discord as well, but we're going to see if that ends up happening. I think we can start with some experience, as John's returning. The experience system in Blades in the Dark is interesting in that the players determine how much experience they get. Unless, of course, they're being unreasonable. Kate, I'm going to start with you, if you're up for it.
I did not roll any desperate actions, therefore I don't mark any XP.
Yeah, I got to give you more desperate actions.
Yeah. I do feel that I addressed a challenge with calculation or conspiracy.
100%.
And I do believe that I expressed my beliefs, drives, heritage, or background.
Okay. Tell me about that. Sorry.
Well, I was definitely tying into my background, which is legal aid at Clermont and Savoy, now that I put a name to it.
Yep.
In that I was using my legal knowledge and especially dealing with Inspector Volai.
You might even have given some business to your old law office,
Yeah,
right? Or
that's
your
fine.
old legal. Yeah. Office.
So I would say that, but I wouldn't say that I struggled with issues from my vice or trauma during this.
Okay,
So.
but I'm going to highlight that for
2
me as
XP.
well as something to do. Okay, cool. So you
Yeah.
can mark that either on your playbook track or on any other tracks that you have. I'll move on down to Liz, John, just because you're getting back. XP?
Yeah, so I didn't roll any desperate actions, but I do believe I addressed a challenge with technical skill or mayhem. I would argue twice if we count the water fountain. So once for water fountain, once for fire.
It's like it's 2 XP if you did it a lot, and I guess we're gonna have to determine as a group what a lot is.
Yeah, 2 XP if that item occurred multiple times.
You also exploded some fire to cause a distraction.
Yeah,
Cool.
You exploded a fire. You
yes.
created a recording device.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about the
I would
cranky
argue
box.
that was kind of the highlight, actually.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, sure. That sounds good to me.
Thank you.
There's other triggers there for you, Liz, right? Expressed beliefs and drives of your character or history.
I think I did. No.
Okay. And struggled with your vice or traumas, but neither. Okay, cool.
No.
Right. Over to you, Zane Seville.
So I definitely rolled some desperate actions. I've already marked those down.
Okay.
Did I address the challenge for stealth or evasion? I would say multiple times.
I would agree with that.
Did I express my beliefs, drives, heritage, or background? Not really today.
Okay.
Don't think so. But here's my question. You struggled with issues from your vice or traumas during the session? Well, that came up at the very end. I don't know if it counts that I've struggled with it yet.
No, but it certainly seems to promise that you might in the future.
So I think I'll mark 2.
Cool. That sounds good for me. Okay. We also normally do a little round of what did you learn, and you want to highlight people's play. If you learned anything, you don't have to say anything, but typically we learn stuff during these sessions, right? Either about the world of the game, about our characters, about our crew. We have to do crew XP as well. Sorry, before we do anything else. Did we successfully accomplish a burglary, espionage?
Espionage, sabotage, or theft operation? We absolutely did espionage.
Yes, this counts as espionage, I agree. Did you take on crews higher than you in tier? I believe is what it is the trigger, right?
I think we absolutely did.
It's ridiculous that you wouldn't do that, but anyway, yes, okay. The next trigger is: did you either bolster your current reputation as daring or create a new reputation for yourselves?
Yes.
Okay, because you're
think so.
daring.
Yeah, we did something quite daring.
I agree with that. We're gonna have to visit some consequences on you.
Uh-oh.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. And then I wrote specific crew elements, but I'm not sure what that means.
Express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew.
This is quite broad, right?
I think that specifically Thistle, in the meeting with Brace, very specifically has developed this sort of like, no, we deserve to get paid. Not just, we'll do this because, no, we're going to get paid. And she did it twice.
Yeah.
She did it first to Brace, second to Telda.
Yeah.
I would argue that we did.
Okay. I like this.
Yeah.
I think if this is the essential nature of your crew, which is we don't work unless we get paid, like that's fine. That's a cool. I like that.
We know our worth.
Yeah, there you go.
I would like to put it that way. Not where we necessarily get paid. It's we know our worth.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is why
Get
also
trampled
you
on.
were like, this one's free, next one's not.
Yeah.
We're still basically saying we know our worth.
I love it. Awesome. Yes.
That means that we have filled our crew XP bar.
Ooh,
If we
cool.
get to buy a thing, we can talk about that.
Correct.
Perhaps.
Yes. This does not increase your tier because
No.
it costs coin, whatever. Your rep would increase, right? But this does mean exactly you get an additional
Special
either
ability.
upgrade or special ability.
Yep.
And we will be doing that off stream and reporting back to you. Okay. Last things. No, I'll start down here this time. Liz, did you learn something? And do you want to highlight a play?
Are you winning something?
Are you winning something?
I learned how fun and challenging it is to like come up with little gadgets on the fly. So that's something that I really want to. Between that and the alchemicals, I want to read it even more and really talk to you and figure out the rules around all of that. Because the book is kind of unclear about what requires downtime actions to do and what you can achieve as flashbacks.
Happy to talk that through.
So I'm very excited to learn more. And to highlight a play, I'd like to highlight Kate. We already talked about it, but like you strong-arming Rowan, basically, was fantastic, but also setting up the stall. Like the idea for the stall was really, really great, and it lended legitimacy to 3 idiots.
I was
walking
thinking
around.
the plan might just be as simple as like, we're all going to hang out on this little like thing upstairs and watch, but like, no, like, let's
This was
create
so
a
much
cover
better,
story
yeah.
that makes sense to be there.
Well, it made it possible for me to get out without getting totally fucked.
That's
I
true,
was going to take harm,
Yeah.
and I didn't because of the distraction, and I had a place to. I was originally going to drop off the goods, but in this case, instead, it meant that I had a place specifically to keep.
Excuse me.
Her safe,
Which I love.
and let her know in advance what was going to happen before we left. So.
Yeah. And Liz, I want to commend you for like working through and finding options in here, because you're right. The game is very broad. The setting is very evocative, but the game is very broad, and you can kind of do whatever you want. That's the idea, right? There's like a freedom in having broad actions, but as we've discussed on this channel many times, sometimes that can be a bit too free.
It's for me, it's like, oh, choose from this list. If you want to refer to the list, go to this page.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like looking at that list, then I went to another page where some items weren't on both lists.
Oh, okay.
And then some things were like special crafting recipes, and yeah, it just kept adding.
Yeah. We'll look at that in a bit more detail,
Perfect.
I think. John, what'd you learn, and what do you want to highlight?
Honestly, the thing that I learned primarily in this is that you twist in the most interesting places.
Okay.
And that's handy for me because it means that I cannot let my guard down. If I let my guard down, I think for a second you're just going to pounce on it. So, I think that's partially the nature of the game. I'm wondering whether it's also part of your storytelling nature, but there's something I think very exciting about that for me, knowing that I can't kind of be like, we got this in the bag, right? Like, because even at the very end, you're just like, ha-ha, like, oh, fuck. So, there's that. I want to highlight the fact that Liz has created a character who's simultaneously a bit kind of tilted.
Sure.
Somebody whose job is to cause mayhem and fuck with spirits, but also somebody who kind of is like the adorable, like, okay, well, we're gonna protect her a little bit. Like, you're the weirdo, but you're also our weirdo. But that's a fine line I think it takes to walk. So I want to highlight that. I think
Thank you very much.
it's a good thing to have.
I like that. Okay, over to you.
I mean, people already highlighted the thing I learned.
That's fine.
But yeah, I do think that my biggest takeaway is that I learned what Morian's willing to roll with because they're small fries, but she at least will not roll over and let people walk all over her and her friends. So she won't. This whole Dosval survives on barter and trade and scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. If anyone tries to get something for free, she will not stand for it unless they deserve it, which is not good this time.
I also, just to jump in on that, I really appreciate, I think what the book lays out in traditional growth for the crew is like, you gain rep by doing scores. Your rep allows you to upgrade your tier, more people come to join your thing. You can reduce the amount of rep you need by having more hold over the neighborhood in which you live, indicating that, like, if you're a group of thugs or smugglers or assassins or whatever, your network is extending. You're like, oh, that drug den? Yeah, we own that. And like, it's very Cloak and Dagger. It's very whatever it is. But what I'm loving is like, we don't have to do that. And I didn't think we wouldn't have to do that, but you're making a name for yourselves by being like, yeah, there's only 3 of us. We only need 3. You know what I mean? Like, it's awesome. It's awesome. And I think that's very surprising, but I'm really enjoying it. Sorry, go ahead.
And I love to highlight Gast. For his tapping in with first guy, Rowan. Finding ways to save it because my move was fuck you, that's a shit deal, I'm leaving, and you managed to salvage it rather than just losing the deal. So
I think
establishing
good cop,
that
bad cop
rapport and that teamwork and all of that.
Weird
like,
cop.
Good cop, bad cop, weird cop.
100%. That's the indication. Yeah.
We might want to lean into that further.
Yeah.
I think it's a good dynamic.
We
to
kind
have.
of did it with the gondolier last week as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unintentionally.
Yeah, and also with the
Fuck
lady
you,
on
yeah.
the boat as well. with
Actually,
the
I think
dad.
it's just kind of naturally
That's what we're
happening, right?
doing. Yeah.
It's working. It's
King
working.
cop. Sub cop. I don't know. Yeah. We're just gonna keep switching it up every session.
No, I love it.
Yep.
That works for me. Cool. Good.
Oh, it's true. The more I think about it, like you two are both making very strong arguments, and then Wave comes in and says something completely unhinged,
Yeah.
and that makes both of you look right by comparison.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And yeah, I think for me, I guess I already just highlighted this, but I feel like it's been really interesting to see how a crew of this tier can play into the world knowing that everyone else has more power than they do. But one way to interact with people with more power than you is to go, yep, I'm your submissive, whatever. That's the wrong term, but you know what I mean. I will work for you until I can find my own way in the world. But another way to deal with it is to go, no, we have the skills, the opportunity, and we're right here. We're ready to do this, and you're gonna and to take charge of the situation on a case by case basis. You're making connections within the world that are probably quite powerful, and I love that. Cool. Okay. Well, thank you guys for
highlighting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Highlighting, because I think John already said it, but like, I just thought that the whole idea of the Nightshade Bazaar was really cool.
Nightshade Bazaar.
Yeah,
Cool.
I
Okay.
could picture it perfectly,
Yeah.
especially when you said the Atwater Market. Like, I love it when it ties back to things that we can all picture.
It's
Really cool.
Inspiration for me too. Nice. Yeah. Sorry, you were gonna say?
No, it's you're creating evocative spaces.
That is something I love to do, and there you go. That's why it's coming in a lot. Okay. Thank you guys very much for game today. It was really awesome.
Thank you.
We, of course, in this community have streams throughout the week that you can tune into, not just here on RPG Clinic on Sundays, but we'll come back around to that. But we all stream as well. What? But we all stream as well throughout the week. You can catch me on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern over on twitch.tv/BiffTheBoss. It's quarry time. And I don't mean a rock quarry, although maybe I do. I think it's Paul Prospero is going to continue to be hunted by werewolves and sex-crazed teens. Well, he's not. You understand. Just come and join me for that. It's been a lot of fun so far. Wednesday,
I'm looking at starting my Cyberpunk 2077 adventure.
Oh my God.
So we're gonna start right from the beginning. I will say, in all honesty, I've seen the first 5 minutes of the game and that's it. So
I hope you like things
There you
in
go.
my universe. Be fun.
yep.
Cool.
Thursday?
I'm absolutely unable to stream. I know that in advance.
Okay, cool. There was a thought last week that I might pick up the Thursday stream for RPG Clinic. This also might happen. It did not happen last week because we had work being done in our house.
Surprise.
This Thursday is a possibility, depending on a few
Unless
things.
there's still work
Unless they're
being
still
done
working
on
on the
the
house. So stay tuned to the Discord for information. I'd love to run a clinic about my experience so far and thoughts from people watching Blades, either as new viewers or as experienced viewers. Friday, I believe.
Friday, we're continuing Punchy. Guardians of the Punch-xy.
Punchiverse. Punch-xy. You're right, sorry.
Punch Lord. And Saturday, Drew Crew, Crime in Queen's Court.
Love that. And then I will be returning to my usual Saturday night streams. You can find out more about that on the Discord. I believe we will have a return to Doomed in this latter part of the year in the lead up to the holidays. And on Sunday,
We'll be right back here with more of this. Episode 3, Blades in the Dark. See what happens after the heist.
after this heist,
Yeah, with our magical recording device.
which will hopefully provide the evidence you need, right? It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun tonight, and I want to thank you three. And I want to thank you out there in the audience, because part of the experience of streaming is knowing that there's people enjoying the ride along with us, which is really cool.
Thank you for the wonderful game.
Love
that.
I just smacked the fuck out of the mic.
Oh dear.
I think we'll be okay. Thank you all so much for joining us. We'll see you again as we go this way and then to our food, which is that way.
Yeah.
Bye.